here today with the one and only Silk. What's good, brother? How you feeling?
Good, bro. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, bro. Feeling good.
Thank you for having me, honestly.
Hell yeah. Bring that mic a little bit closer to you. And you could bring it down however you It's
Ultron.
It's movable. Yeah.
It's Ultron. Gotcha.
Man, how you doing, bro?
I can't complain, bro. Honestly, life feels really good right now. Honestly.
Right.
Just came off of like decompression, Rolling Loud. That was fun. That was like my first day off in a while. So
Okay.
you know what I'm saying?
So,
I know you were there too.
Yeah, man. In and out. We were talking about it. It's like, it's crazy how different it is at night than it is during the day.
It's crazy just how far, shows have come, because I feel like, we've probably grown up in an era where we go to a show where there's 100 people in the crowd.
Yeah.
And we have that same energy. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't imagine like trying to be in the pit of 100,000 raging fans. You know
on whatever going
and they
crazy.
love that energy, and they're emulating that energy that they've watched growing up. It's kind of crazy. You know what I mean?
We were talking about it out there, and you were explaining just how, like, even like artists like Cardi, how they kind of transcended into this space where like the rock band, the Rolling Stones, Aerosmith, and all those guys, like,
he's walking into that level of being like a generational live act. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't even like his music in your headphones or things like that, you gotta respect just how strong his stage presence is. You know what 100%. I'm saying?
Because to be honest, like, I don't listen to a ton of new stuff, but even being at Rolling Loud, walking through it. So like back in like 2012, 2013, I was like big in the dance music space. So I saw how that evolved in America to where EDC was Rolling Loud. You know what I mean? Those same kids, if they were that age, like, going into like 17, 18, those same kids would be going crazy at EDC if they were in a different era.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Benny Benassi kind of came in,
bro.
Brought T-Pain with him,
David
Chris
Guetta,
Brown.
fucking Tiesto, like,
yeah.
It was a huge moment. Avicii going up, like, huge. And I remember what that felt like, and being 20 something and being like, this is everything. And yeah, I will say, like, as a producer as well, like, hearing those records, even not knowing them, but in that space, it makes a lot more sense. Because when you're listening to that shit in your car, it's one thing. It's like, okay, like, I get it. Maybe if you're turning up to the function, whatever, but when you see the energy, like, same with dance music, a lot of people, I used to take people to shows who didn't listen to that shit at all. But once you see a sea of people start moving because of this one thing, or undeniable, you're like, oh, I get it. Even if I'm not into it, I get it. I get why it works.
I have a lot of friends that are like that, even like friends that just listen to rap music prevalently. And I listen to a lot of R&B music. I love like chill stuff too. Okay. And a lot of people won't really feel that, especially dudes, till I bring them outside and they see how R&B music is in the scene, and how it actually makes the crowd that they're looking for a little bit more prone to, enjoying themselves.
100%.
Not everybody wants to like shake their dreads and, you know what I'm saying, do a handstand and mosh pit. So
it's not sexy. It's really not sexy.
It's not.
And it's not, like you said, it's even like the Amapiano and like all that, or like the Afrobeat stuff. Like, man, when you go to an environment where that's what's going on, you're like, oh, this is way more of an environment I want to be in.
Listen, I'm so mad for being late to WizKid. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
incredible.
I'm so mad for being late to all that stuff, though, because it's like, it's obviously been so captivating to the world that it existed in. You know what I'm saying? And I think that the outreach of like music just becoming a lot more accessible worldwide. You know what I'm saying? You can be from anywhere at any point, and the music blows up 100,000, you know what I'm saying, miles away or whatever. It's like, it can be from anywhere at this point. That to me kind of just like makes me wish I was kind of like more open-minded earlier, because it's like there's so much music I'm still trying to listen to. You know what I mean?
I think that's a fault though too of just timing, because I think if we were even 5 years younger, the world we would have grown up in would have been more of like for me, I was downloading discographies. That was my way of the torrent. Like, see, that's how I got put on to so much music. But you still kind of had to know where you wanted to look. Because you didn't have a
song. There was no song direction. So a good band that I would say really did it for me, Massive Attack.
Okay.
Like, I heard Teardrop because I was listening to, I was watching House. I watched the whole, like, 8 seasons of House.
Okay.
And, like, this is how I start learning how to sew. So I'm spending, like, 13 hours a day sewing.
Shit.
So
That's
I'm
great.
watching House. And every episode, I'm like, damn, this shit's crazy. So then I'm like, yo, like, maybe this is, like, the vibe I want to listen to. So then I'm kind of, like, diving into just them. But it's like, all right, cool. Now you got to get the albums. And then it's like, but then you look at the suggested music, and now you're into Portishead, and now you're into Tricky, and now, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, we grew up in an era where you kind of like had to literally search out for new music, but when you found it, it was like a gold mine. You know what I'm saying? Like, and nowadays it's like music is, and I find myself succumbing to it a lot, where it's like you'll hear a song on TikTok 1,000 times, and you'll be like, damn, well, I'm gonna go stream it now. And it kind of curves how people are listening to music, because it's like nobody's seeking out the next big thing.
No.
But there is a lightning strike moment for every artist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I watched one band I love to death, and they actually like broke up. It was called Sales. And Sales' shit was all of like TikTok's original music. Everything that was on TikTok was made by Sales. Like, the first few years TikTok was blowing up, all of the original songs that were like really, really viral and going up were all by Sales. And Pope is a Rock Star, like all of these songs, that this band was so like unique, and it was very chill and very, you know what I'm saying? And it just became
them the Sales or SAILS?
Nah, it's SALES.
SALES. All right.
They only dropped like 2 projects, like 3.
That's all they needed. They probably finessed the game, huh?
Nah, but it's like the lead singer, she ended up wanting to do her own thing, and you know, like there's bands like that.
Them.
Yes,
I have seen them.
Yeah, so it's like that. Like, I watched this band literally go from regular chill, like, to a household name just because of TikTok, and all of their music was perfect for that space. So it was almost like you could see that there's a genre to TikTok music. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's like, I think as tastemakers, we're going to start to see a lot more people kind of like digging, you know, like even with myself, I'm like, damn, maybe I should start, instead of like using the most popular Future song that I like right now, maybe I might use this System of a Down song. You know what I'm saying? I might use this Gorillaz track. I might use things that, like, for me are everyday, but it might shift, you know what I'm saying? Like, what people think is cool. You know what I'm saying?
Well, because
like,
we're all just drops in the bucket, right? And that's another thing. Like, it's always, and you obviously do it, being original, doing what you do, but it's like, people don't realize just being original and you just doing what you like has such an impact on the world. Because if everyone was actually doing that, we would have way more of a diversity of opinion. We would have way more of a diversity of content. We would have,
I'm one of those people that, like, I hate being around people I agree with.
Yeah.
And I think this is why my friends tell me that, like, I'm very, like, I have a response for everything, because it's almost like I like having people around me that I disagree with. Like, I don't want you to be the dude that, like, we immediately agree on something, because it's almost like, where is the challenge in how we think, and how will we evolve if we just agree on every single thing? So it's like, if you're looking at like the state of the world and you agree on, there's no room for like the problem solving, and mitigating problems is kind of like what makes us all really great at our jobs. Being talented is cool, but like the problem solving that comes with having a creative process and having a business and having, overhead and things like that, being able to mitigate that into a sustainable living, that comes with challenging your normalcy on a regular basis. So you have to have people that are just like, no, bro, no, like, no, that's dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thrive in that, because it's like, I can not only like realize that, man, me and this person can literally just disagree on anything and nothing changes. it made me realize how much that interaction, like, it's a lot more of what society needs, is to be able to genuinely say, like, nah, like, that nigga's tweaking. And I'm cool with him knowing he's tweaking on that. It's not my job to kind of, like, argue someone into submission and kind of, like, make them understand something. You know what I'm saying? But it's also good to be, like, challenged into making what you believe makes sense. Because if someone disagrees with you, you genuinely have like 2 or 3 sentences in response to kind of really rebuttal and make your point as clear as and concise as possible.
Yes.
And I think that has helped me even become so good at communicating my points in like a seamless flow. You know what I mean? Super crazy.
Because you've learned to just cut the fat.
Yeah. Like, let's just get to it. You know what I mean? And I think that makes life a lot easier because it just shows that, like, you know, the more you are what you truly like want to be in the world and what you desire to see, you'll start to see like your friends, your family, your loved ones kind of become the Avengers. You know what I'm saying? Because everyone's reflecting that energy. And the people that aren't, they kind of have to separate themselves a little bit because you got to figure that out. You got to figure out that this is like, okay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's an okay way to live.
I think a lot of people, though, because I feel the same way. I'm very much like, let's have a debate. Like, I enjoy debating. I enjoy going past the surface of ideas. You know what I mean? So if you disagree with me, but you're going to take me somewhere else, oh shit, I might learn something. But so many people take that as an offense. It's like they get defensive and they don't want to go further. Or it's, like you said, I feel this way and I don't have those 4 sentences. So I'm just going to be mad.
And the crazy thing is like, that's when I know I don't need to be around this person. You know what I mean? Because it's like, one of the first things I realized, like, even in the past year in regards to like holding meaningful relationships, is that having confrontation is not a sign of friction. It's a sign of like a desire to solve the problem. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I care about you, we're beefing about it. You know what I'm saying? If I don't care about you, I literally don't care. I don't care how you walk. I don't care how you shit. I don't care how you
feel at all.
Exactly. So it's like, if we're literally like, bro, like, we're trying to understand that that's a good sign that you two care about each other, friends, family, anybody. Like, yo, we care about each other, obviously. So we're trying to get through this. Starting any conversation with that understanding, even if it's a disagreement, often disarms people from feeling attacked. And you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of it is like, you know, I take responsibility in being like endearing in how I say things, because I know how easy it is to be sharp and kind of like knowing that information can be a hard fist, like, or it can be a gentle rub on the face. And it's still the same object, still the same, you know what I'm saying? But the force is different. The result is different. How people receive it, how they go away with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it changes the course of how people even interact with you or want to be around you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's very true, because I can be very sharp, and I've learned. Like,
and it's okay, because it's like, if you have people that are holding you accountable and saying, hey, bro, like, I don't like when you do this. And you're like, I'm sorry. I got you. Like, you know, I used to fight people. So if I called you this out of your name, I thought that was progress, but I know that there's still more work to be done.
Right.
You know
I see what you're saying. That's a great metaphor for it too.
Like, I used to want to fight. So like, I think
I'm moving in the right direction.
But thank you for the grace. I appreciate you holding me accountable. One of my favorite things I've recently discovered is being told I'm someone's disappointed in me. Because that shit stings.
That shit stings, bro.
That shit hurts like a motherfucker.
Man, I feel like, especially because growing up, that's what my parents would say. If they were like especially like my dad. Oh, if he's disappointed, because it's different. I'm not even mad. I'm just like, I expected better from you.
So much. And now imagine if that's just your homie, and he genuinely is like. I feel like when people will kind of sign up to be in your life, it's almost like, and they tell you these things, you're like, damn.
Right.
because some people don't feel like they can have that authentic, you know, like some people enable things and certain, like, nah, bro, I'm disappointed in you. You knew you went out bad doing that. Like,
yeah. And I feel like it's just that level of, very quickly, that's recording. Oh, this cam. It's recording, right? Just want to make
yeah.
Okay, just make sure. I can't see it, so I always have to ask. Yeah, I think it's also, though, having homies who, you know, have that level of accountability. Because that's, bro, that be the hardest thing. It's like, I don't have a problem. We all fuck up. I'm going to fuck up. You're going to fuck up. Like, that's fine. But when you do, be cool with being like, you know what? I could have handled that better. You know what? Won't happen again. As long as a person is able to do that, I can still rock with them. Because at least, I mean, you know, granted, they're not doing something crazy. But because it shows that level of like, okay, you take accountability for your actions. You know why. You can understand why I'm angry. What I can't stand is a motherfucker who's like, what's the big deal? It's like when a motherfucker borrows money, and it's like, okay, yeah, somebody borrowed $40, and then you be like, hey, what's good with the? Oh, now you want this funky ass $40? Whoa! Let's not do that. Like, let's not do that. It's better. I'm easier if you go, bro. I don't even want to lie to you. Don't have it right now, but I got you on the bet.
The crazy thing is like a lot of people kind of forget that they've asked for $40. You know what I'm saying? So like, I try to always think about it like, nah, I can't ever go there. You can't ever go there, because it's like there have been times where you might have had a girlfriend and that girlfriend did a life-changing thing for you, or you had, so it's like I always try to lead with like grace is important. Like, it's super important, and kind of like knowing why people even react to things the way they do. And if you understand that shame is almost like the center of a lot of people's spiritual nature, like, bro, like if I say, yo, I'm already like guilty enough with myself that I'm down. So if I come to you and ask you for $40, and then they're like, oh shit, like I should be able to bounce back, and they know they were just gonna buy weed, you know, like they didn't even tell you like, yo, to be honest, I'm really just having a day. I need some weed. It's not really gonna turn into no return. So it's like a lot of it be like shame, like you hiding the true nature of why you need help. But to even come to a place to ask help, that takes a lot of, you know, putting your ego to the side. So when you don't have it, I think people kind of be like, that shame and that guilt, that becomes like the mask. And that's when there's projecting like, why do you care so much about this $40? And they probably now checking your pockets like, bro, you got money, you got food, you got all this shit, and you want the $40 back? It's so crazy. And it's like, yo, bro, like I'm telling you, people genuinely like, I try to like not even find myself being confrontational with people, because 9 times out of 10, the confrontation is a they're doing some introspective beefing. You know what I'm saying? Like the beef they have is so introspective that I understand that I've been here. I know what you're going through, but I have no desire to be the conduit to your chaos. Right. You know what I'm saying? So,
my dad always says, I don't have to attend every argument I'm invited to.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
why am I doing this? I see where this is headed.
I'm learning that, like, still to this day, like, to listen as intently as I'd hear things, you know, because sometimes you hear things and you wait for that keyword to kind of jump in and just be like, yo, I knew what I was about to say. You already had your whole statement planned. You didn't care what that person was going to say. So you kind of have to like learn how to turn your whole brain off into listening mode and just receive and really, really receive information. Because I think when you do that, you start to really read people a lot differently. Like, can't get mad at somebody who's down. They cups on 10. Yeah. They got no understanding of overflow. They so far from it, their cup might crack. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. They one step away from a fracture, and then that cup might not even fill back up the same way ever again. So if you understand that, you almost kind of like, the best thing I could ever tell somebody is like, you know, get closer to, you know, God. You get closer to God, you get overflow. You know, you get the overflow. At that point, people bring their cups next to yours, and then, hey, just make your way over here to this. But just know this is how we operate. we hold ourselves accountable. We're respectful. You know, we hold ourselves to this standard in the world that we exist in. You know what I'm saying?
And
like,
that's how you build your world. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's how I feel like, you know, we bring men in this world and like raise that's what like those young creative men that are inspired and they're tenacious and they're driven, like they just need that kind of stiff structure that kind of I would say we were raised with. Like my dad was terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't think dads are terrifying anymore.
No.
I think the streets are way scarier than fathers are now.
Yeah.
And it's very damaging to the fact that like if a dude isn't scared of his dad, that means he literally will go into the world and do anything. Like I would have done a lot crazier stuff if I didn't think when I went home my dad was going to do the UFC. You know what I'm saying? Like,
bro, and then it's just it's a weird thing because I always feel like in today's society it's very like almost what you brought up, shame.
Mm-hmm.
It's like shame is so taboo, but at the same time, as a kid, I feel like some of those things, like it's almost like being bullied.
Mm-hmm.
It's like bullying's bad. We know that in an excessive nature,
mm-hmm.
but a little bullying's good because if you learn how to use that as fuel for what you want to go do, you know. So it's like a weird. It's balance.
I think,
you know.
I think the way I see it is like whether you see racism, whether you see division, whether you see xenophobia, whatever you see in the world, it is going to happen regardless. Like, so you have to kind of arm people to understand how to mitigate that world. And like, if you understand where the darkness exists, you can understand where to build the lighthouses. And if those lighthouses exist, there's never going to be really a lost person anymore. They'll know where to go if they desire to go there. So I kind of see like we have lost that kind of that desire to kind of like be big homies, I think. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think having men in your life that are just like, nah, bro, this is P. This is cool. This is this not cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have mad young homies. Like, the dude who does my comic book art, he's only like 23, 24. He's about to turn 24 next month. But I've had him since he was 19. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, like, yo, bro, like, you got to clean your house. Right. While you're cooking, do the dishes. Right. You got to do your push-ups every day. You got to be in the gym. Discipline. You got to smell good. Mm-hmm. You got to make sure you're clean and you're organized and you're focused and you're gentle in your nature, but you're also firm in your action. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, like, that's the type of stuff that I kind of, like, really drill into, like, my homies' heads.
But that's like, great. And to get that from someone you also find cool, because that's the other thing, you know, with parents, a lot of times we'd be like, when we're young, we're like, you're not cool, you don't, because we have no concept of they were cool in their day,
and they're also adults, so you're watching them at our age now and you're like, oh, I got you now.
I get it. Like,
if I had a kid right now, I'm not gonna turn into some dork. Like, I'm just gonna still be me, you know what I'm saying? And y'all just gonna be embarrassed. Sorry.
And a lot of the things that you're saying, a lot of things that you're doing, it's like same thing. It's like when you get older,
understand.
They're like, oh, I'm happy that my parents were like parents. Because even when I see now, it's like, especially in, you know, we're in the OnlyFans era, all that kind of stuff. Man, I'm glad that, you know, my mom's not on the OF. Like, you feel me? Like, that's a whole different thought process for a 12-year-old or 11-year-old. Like,
do they care? I don't think they care. I honestly, from what I'm seeing and like the shift in the world and how these kids are now teenagers, a lot of the famous OF girls that are like kind of older and have teenage sons, their teenage sons are not being bullied. Their teenage sons are not going to school, you know, and having to fight off hordes of people holding their phones up or their naked mom.
No.
I don't think that this actually, I think that's one of those like hypothetical fears. Like, porn has always existed. Like, porn star moms have always existed. You know what I mean? So like, these kids have grown up. They've been fine. They've been fine this whole time. So I actually think like OnlyFans models are the one, like, they're the one thing that I feel like doesn't really, it's a myth. Like the idea that these kids are going to be like terrorized for their mom's occupation.
I don't know. I don't think it's terrorized. But
like,
I
there's
do think
dudes that's
you gotta
mom-
have that uncomfortable day though, where it's like someone bought an account and it got passed around.
100%. But like,
yeah.
bro, think about it like this. Like in the 80s, like your mom could be a whore, you know, and your mom was the whore in the hood. And that's really how you were born. And that's really what our era had to grow up
see
with.
what you're
I
saying,
don't think it was, you know what I'm saying? And
see what you're
everywhere you went, old men, grown men, I know your mom. And you don't know what that means. You don't know what that means till you 16.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like,
You the Redder boy, right? Yeah.
that's so, bro, that's not cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like that, I feel like, mind you, you might not have even noticed it though, because you're a kid. And it's not really. So I feel like a lot of things kids are worried about are like video games. They're worried about Roblox. They're really, really worried about Roblox. Bro, they care so much about Roblox and Riz and TikTok. They care about TikTok. They don't care. They probably are more embarrassed if their mom is famous on TikTok than they are on OnlyFans, to be honest.
Damn, low key, because people are definitely seeing this.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone knows your mom at that point. So I feel like, you know, especially because of the fact that a lot of those OnlyFans girls, they're just straight hustling people.
Oh, for sure.
So it's like a dude might go and be like, yeah, your mom's on OnlyFans. And it's like, bro, my mom is at home, like, chilling. There's a whole company that manages her account. Facts. They post what she posts on Instagram. Mm-hmm. It's actually pretty lucrative. The
side businesses that they figured out,
it's pretty lucrative.
Bro, it's crazy.
It's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy.
And I think that to see, I feel like, you know, every industry where you find independence kind of becoming the scalability, you're going to watch the masses turn that off. They're going to say, no, this isn't okay. Because the average person is scared to do anything. 100%. They're scared to quit their job. Mm-hmm. They're scared to not eat the same thing. Right. They're scared to do anything outside their comfort zone because comfort is their safe space. Right. So if you look at anyone who's trying something that is daring and obnoxious and out there, people are going to be like, that's terrible. Yeah,
no matter what it is, especially if it's against the norm.
You know what I'm saying? So true. It's like,
because there are some, like, I've seen, just like anything, you have some people who have done it and they just do it because they think it's going to be easier money than it actually is. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, it's like the first go round, like most of these girls have like a great first 2 months because it's like everybody who knows them is like, oh, let me check it out. And then after that, it kind of dries up unless you're hustling. But the ones who hustle, they're the ones you're seeing buying houses. They're the ones, but they're actually hustling at this is a whole nother game to figure out. Yeah,
I seen that one girl. She made like 70. She grossed like 75.
Yeah, million, right?
I'm like, whoa,
that's crazy.
Yo, and then dropped that nuclear diss record on that girl. I was like, what the hell? And this is what I'm saying. Like, bro, they're more empowered and more like, this is exactly what we should want in this world, is that if a woman wants to go to school and become a lawyer and become the Supreme Court justice, that's a possibility. If a woman wants to use her promiscuity to profit off of it,
it's a possibility.
If they can both make a substantial living and take care of and raise good, genuine humans that will grow to be, you know, honest, living humans, I don't see a problem with it. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So,
well, I think the only problem comes in with how many of those people will raise those kids with that. Now, here's the thing. I don't know because I don't know the numbers. So, but it's thought exercise. How many? Because it's almost like, I know that there's great parents who are probably strippers, right? Mm-hmm. But then we also know some of the life things that come with being a stripper. You know what I mean? It's that balance. You know what I mean? And that's the question. But at the same time, I'm sure the odds are better that you're getting with more.
I still think it's always going to be like people hating from outside the club.
Right.
You know,
They
so
don't
it's
even
like,
know what it's really like inside of. I see what you're saying.
you know, so it's like if people had the opportunity to have a substantial living doing the bare minimum or what they like to do,
Right.
you're gonna find people that are like, no. Like I have been making sequence clothes since 2017, and still there's a dude that thinks that this shit's lame, and I'm okay with that because he's not gonna understand that I'm just doing me, and it doesn't harm anybody. It doesn't, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, as long as you're in that curve of kind of fighting against normalcy, people are gonna have an adverse reaction to that because it's
natural,
supernatural.
I see what you're saying.
I obviously, people don't even care that porn stars were, humiliated and made pennies on the dollar for our childhood. So all that shit we were indulging in that was cool,
right?
Or
I see what you're saying.
you know what I'm saying? Like that was cool. But now it's like, these women are earning a living and being able to buy the houses that cars men dream of. And you realize that there are men that are funding this. It's not women. There might be women that support it, but these are men.
Yeah.
These are the bros.
These are men for sure.
These are the bros.
Yeah, facts.
You mad at these girls because of the bros. That's so
facts.
obnoxious.
That is crazy. Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
That's mad obnoxious. You know what I'm saying? True. It's like
you mad. You and your homies talk about the shit. You mad at the nigga next to you.
Like I'm mad at you know what I'm saying? Like
that's crazy.
I can't be mad at my homie for wanting to pay for some. You know what I'm saying? Or I can't.
And then also on top of that too, it's great when you go back. Like I'm a history buff, or like I love old shows and stuff. And you go back and it's like that's also the oldest profession because at the end of the day, it's like even the Wild West, people pulling into town. It's like, well, if people weren't selling it, people would still want it.
And the crazy thing is if people wanted to stop seeing it, they would. Your algorithm is what you want to see, bro.
Facts.
Them girls that you see every day.
That's facts.
You like it.
That's facts. It's funny. All my homies get on X. They always be like, "Oh man, X is crazy," and I'm like, I only get political shit, but that's my algorithm. Now you go to Instagram. Now I got like little workout video girls and cheeks and all. But I'm like, I know why I get this.
I remember being in a relationship and like strictly making sure that I was only looking up like fashion stuff, and I'm into anime and. I'm looking up like cosplay out, like anime Power Ranger suits, shit like that. So my feed is very, very creative, very childish almost. And I'm like, yeah, nah, this is good. And she'd be like, let me see it, bet here, and I could look at my Explore page right now and see that it is not that. It's not that. I am guilty. I'm so guilty.
You start going through those wormholes, and they sneak them in too,
and you like it. So it's like you love this shit, and I'd be like, yo, like it's like if I make this outfit, post it on the gram, and it goes up, and people love it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Job well done. So I even look at it. I'm like, wow, you killed it. You killed it.
Because it's almost like what we were talking about with music. It's the everybody has their own thing, and if you're doing it with a certain intention and you're getting what you intended to get out of it, you killed it.
Yeah, exactly.
You did exactly what you set out to do.
Exactly.
And that's success.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like I just try to find the balance between understanding that people don't like success, like when it's outside of the normalcy. People barely like. I know people that like probably work at these jobs and they have coworkers, and their coworker been there for 30 years, and they might have been there for 6 months and got a promotion. Their coworker's not happy for them. I don't care what anybody says. Your coworker's not happy for you. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
if that was, zoom out. That's a famous person, and we're watching this show on reality TV. Everybody would say, nah, that person hates you, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they would also hate that person for getting that promotion. And people that are also in similar situations would, they would empathize with that person who's been there for 30 years and be like, nah, you didn't deserve it. But that's what happens when people are under the lens, but if you're living normal everyday life, it's the exact same thing. Yeah. And that's what people try to like not understand. That's why people go and project all of this energy on the internet. Life be miserable.
Yeah.
I don't go on the internet and want to go hate on people. I really don't. Yeah. I'd never have gone on and seen anything, even if it's something I didn't like. And I'll be honest, I did on the radar posted that Rugrat dude. And the first time they posted the 1900 Rugrat,
no,
he's hard. He's hard, and I can give him his credit now. You could go on the Instagram post. I said y'all only like this beat. I said y'all only like this beat. I came back 5 weeks later, and I was like, you know what? I was wrong. I left the comment up because I was wrong.
Is it which guy is it?
He's sliding.
Let me see. Which guy is it?
Man,
it might be a minute ago, huh?
It might have been a minute ago, but if you type in 1900 Rugrat,
1900 Rugrat.
He's definitely in a space where he's actually rapping. I'm not mad at him.
Get it off.
Listen, so you can see that he's not faking it.
Right? No. He does this. Yeah.
So like, when I first heard that, I'm like, nah, that's the you ain't even know it beat. That's what we love about this. I know that we not really listening to this, and 5 weeks go by. I'm like, God damn, this shit is crazy. And he's actually, every bar makes sense. I was listening. It definitely made sense. He was spitting his shit. I can't even lie. And I'll be
like the pocket watch. I got some zipper phone. Peas with the zipper phone. I was like, okay. Hey.
So I'm hearing him rap and hearing him make other music. And I'm like, yo, he's hard. And I'll hold myself accountable. And I'll look at that comment and be like, damn, you shouldn't have jumped to this. Like that's how it always
starts.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's crazy to see though. That's how it always starts. Like even once people are at a pinnacle, like even coming up, like you said, zoom out. Everyone loves Beyonce now, right? Mm-hmm. Now, right? It's in the scheme of things. But like there was a point in her come up where it was just people just thought she was too good for everybody else because she was out doing shows. Because my parents had me doing shows and all that as a kid too. So it's like, I already know what that's like. You know how many shows probably Destiny's Child when they were younger probably did, and people were like sitting in the crowd just like,
you know what I mean? Because you need that stamp. They want to see that stamp.
Yeah, you're not signed nowhere yet. You rehearsing in your parents' basement. Kids at school. Like, you know what I mean? Like this 1,000,000,000,000% happened. And then she was, then they started moving, they got signed, and then somebody was still hating. That song ain't that good. Talking about bills ain't good. Motherfucker, you just hating. And now that's the same person gonna pay $800 to go see her and say, I went to high school with her, and B was always cool. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that it just kind of takes people like zooming out a lot. Like, bro, you don't like you don't like yourself. Whatever
whatever this is
whatever it is, you don't even care about this enough to really not like it or like it. You know what I'm saying? If you don't indulge in this type of rap music, it doesn't really matter if you like it or not. So why are you even listening to make an opinion when you are going in? It's like if I don't like vodka and I am like, I'm going to taste and drink all this vodka.
It's so bad. It's
so bad. Like, bro, you're literally drinking it. Like, please stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, just stop. Like, there's mad other drinks. Like, pick your poison.
That's right.
Pick what you like, Like, stop complaining about things that you're indulging in. You know what I mean? And I don't like when you had to go and buy a movie to watch it. You couldn't rip it or watch it in little Instagram clips, and you had to go buy the video game. You had to go return it to GameStop, sell it for 6 cents. Brand new.
Them niggas had a formula, didn't
scamming.
You
had to go and buy the album. You know what I mean? So when you do that, you're kind of realizing like, oh, I'm liking the stuff that I'm consuming. I'm not going to go out and buy every single new album that has come out this week so I can listen to things I hate.
Right.
That's so dumb.
What you're
But
saying.
now we're in this era where people kind of have transitioned into indulging in things they objectively know they don't like just to say they don't like it.
Right.
Why?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Just time and, like you said, and a reason to be angry at something.
This comes back to, like, you know, if you're on an OnlyFans girl's account talking about how embarrassed her kids are going to have to grow up, why are you there?
Right.
Why are you here? There are Black love pages. There are so many different pages that you could build your algorithm with that aren't shade room oriented.
100%.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that, you'll see the things that you desire to see. You don't have to see these things, but the problem is that people,
you indulge in them.
you want that.
Yeah.
You secretly want that.
That's why I feel like a lot of people like watching reality shows, man. Like the discourse of a reality show, they feel like it's just entertainment, but it's also sometimes you see it in their lives, and it's like, yeah, you like the
Jersey Shore.
Yeah, you love this. You actually thrive off of this, or you seek it to an extent, but if you don't have it in your life, this is your escape to get some of it. And it's like, I look at it like, no.
I don't even think it's an escape to because you don't have it. I think it's you have so much of it that you need to see it elsewhere so that yours doesn't seem as big. People,
this is heightened.
yeah,
Right.
because it's like I think a lot of people kind of like try to create and focus on things that aren't problems,
Right.
so that they don't have to focus on their actual problems. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if I'm worried about this character and if they're gonna get caught cheating, like I'm not worried about my, paying child support or whatever the case is. Like
Right.
I'm back
At least for this hour, I'm
like
good.
this hour, I'm not worried about this back child support. Or, you know what I mean? Like, and I think it's just like people genuinely are looking. The escapism is real. Like the escapism is so prevalent in how people even are trying to consume things. People aren't consuming things because they like it. I have watched every single Marvel movie that has come out. And after Endgame, it's like people just decided that they were only going to watch these things to tell you that they are tired of watching these movies.
Right.
Why are you still watching the movies?
Right.
You paid to watch the movie. You paid for the subscription. Oh, I'm not watching this in the theaters. I'm going to wait till it comes on streaming. Bro, okay.
But you're still consuming.
Yeah, you're still going to consume it. Like, and just to say you hate it. Like,
see, and I completely understand that because, like, for example, I'm not a real superhero guy. Every superhero movie I've ever watched has been like a friend being like, "Hey, you're coming with me. We're going to go see this," and that's happened like 3 times. I haven't seen them, so I know what you mean. It's like, yeah, because I don't want to just go watch it and then just be like, "Man, this shit whack, man." It's like, what? I know I'm not a fan generally, so why would I? Like, that anime is something I've wanted to break into, but because I'm not huge on supernatural or sensationalism in certain ways, I'm trying to find the one. But I just found one that I really do like. Hajime no Ippo.
Hajime no Ippo, the boxing
Yeah.
one. Yes.
This is like, I've only watched 2 that I've like kind of locked in on. One was Death Note. I didn't finish it, but I got to like episode 22 or 27.
I was watching Death Note when it was airing, so like that was like a huge moment because that was like they were finishing up or they were just starting Naruto Shippuden, which was like the second Naruto's grown up, and Death Note was coming in hot. Bleach is running hot. Like all these animes are just going crazy. Death Note had a crazy, hit the lineup of his competition crazy.
Really?
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So like all at that time you had the big 3 really fortifying were the big 3. So anything that was even substantial at that time, it was like really good. So like Death Note was one of those things where you watch and the idea of like the concept is magnificent.
And that's what got me. I was like,
Look.
okay, I can.
Wait till you get to the end. It's gonna be crazy.
That's what I think. That was what it was too. It was my first anime I tried to watch, and it was like, oh, I kind of burnt out because I was like, oh, I'm just gonna run through this. But that one's so long that I kind of like.
So you're not against the supernatural stuff. You just want it to be more grounded in reality.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's so many, bro. There's so many. Oh my God, the ones with the stakes.
What's that called?
It's just like there's certain anime like Dragon Ball where the stakes aren't really that high because like I can die, you can wish me back. You can die, I can wish you back. So if I'm watching you die, I'm not even trying to stop it. You damn near like, hey bro, it's cool. I'm gonna sacrifice myself. There's no stakes.
Okay,
so
I see what you're
it's
saying.
grounded in such a fantastical way that you almost like you come to it for something different. But like I'll tell you like probably the best anime that you're ever gonna watch that's grounded in reality. No superstition, no nothing.
Right.
Monster.
Okay.
Oh my God. Oh my Lord, bro. Monster.
Really?
And now mind you, Monster is 76 episodes, I think.
Okay. So I'll take my time.
Listen, it is magnificent. Like the writing, the actual story behind Monster is just, I'll give you like a quick like break into like the first episode. So this doctor, this Japanese dude, he's a surgeon, and I
finished this one. It is incredible. Yes, because he's the one. Hold on, when did I watch this? Or maybe I got midway through. I didn't watch the whole thing. If it's that many episodes, but I did like this one.
Where the kid is.
Yes, because he saved the kid, and I might have finished this one. I think I finished this one because is the ending in like a temple or something like that? And
no, I know where you're talking about. Okay, the temple scene where Johan is standing at the top.
Yes,
that's midway through.
Okay, so maybe I got midway through and then got sidetracked.
You got to the middle where he meets his sister.
Yes,
and you realize he's a twin.
Yes,
and you're like, oh shit,
no, bro, this one had
This is actually probably one of the best written stories I've watched. Period, because it's just like, oh my God, the detective, the way his mannerisms are, the way he types all of his thoughts to keep them in his head. It's just so like, whoa. And I watched this one young too, like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's fire.
He's probably the best villain you're ever going to see. Like a realistic villain. He's cold-blooded. That's a real villain. And when you get to the end, you'll see just how crazy this one gets.
Okay.
Because they kind of take Tenma and they turn him into, like they strip him of all of his integrity and try to force him into a box of being this cold-blooded murderer.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me see.
So
I'm trying to see where I was, if I remember. I got to Monster's Love Letter. I'm trying to see. Okay, so 74. I don't think I got through all 74.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like,
I got to go back then because I definitely got to. So children orphanage about Grimmer, but then okay, so I got this far. I was at least in like episode.
There's just so much here. The way that they're like, nah, we're trying to bring back the Nazi regime by doing these experiments on kids to try to recreate the circumstances, the trauma that made Hitler what he was. That's crazy.
Deep.
Crazy.
Deep for fucking anime.
And it's like super crazy. And that's like, I think if you are watching something and looking for realistic, like this is, there's no way to get around it. But it's definitely one of those things that I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, the story. I love Japanese culture, but I love just how the storylines in all of these are so positive. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so much on like, and that's even like why I like the Hajime no Ippo one. It's like, it's all about
encouraging,
encouraging, bettering yourself, and like, getting a little bit better every single day.
I think that's why you see a lot of these new kids, like kids that grew up in our era and younger, you're going to see the basketball kid make it because of Naruto.
Right. Yeah.
Because Naruto told him, you can do anything, believe it. Datebayo. And that shit stuck with him for the rest of his existence. And he took himself to, and if you look, there's a lot of kids in the NFL, in the NBA right now that have literally adhered, you know what I'm saying, to that understanding. My homie, Richie James, he was in the Super Bowl, like not this last one, but the one before, playing for the Chiefs. So I like did his outfit and everything, but it's like, he's one of those dudes that is so like into that. His nickname Sensei. Named his daughter Samurai. I'm like, and you know me, I'm like, yo, you snap. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a good one. Damn. You know what I'm saying? So there's just like, you can see that, like, the understanding that exactly what you said, the storylines that are introspectively driven on a character developing and understanding within themselves to be a better person, regardless of the strength. That is 9 times out of 10 why anime is crushing like Western media, because it's like Western media is bent on characters not healing.
Yes.
So if you look at Batman, he refuses to go to therapy. He refuses, because if he goes to therapy, then there's no Batman, essentially. If he's not broken, then he's not going to break bones. You know what I mean? So, like, there's this inherent need for, like, Daredevil to go through these trials. Punisher, you have to lose your whole family. Damn. Like, these characters that have to lose everything to remain broken.
Right.
Whereas, like, Demon Slayer is the same thing as Punisher, but instead of him becoming, you know, this Punisher mentality, he's using that to fuel himself to become the best Demon Slayer possible and save his sister.
So his powers for good instead of evil.
And even if they use their powers for evil, you're a lot more convinced.
Right. Swear. They did a whole lot of work to be this evil.
They did a whole lot of work to get here. You like, nah, I feel you. Like, I get why you're this evil, because this world just like, destroyed, it broke your faith, and you tried to find the help. That's usually how the villains are. That's why Naruto is so tight. Okay. Because Naruto, all of his villains, they essentially are people that were looking for the help and looking for the ear and looking for the hug. Right. You know what I'm saying? So Naruto is so good for just whooping a dude down. Whooping him down bad, bro. Whooping him down bad, and then being like, hey, bro, you don't gotta be like this. And the nigga be like, damn, you're right. And restore all the bad shit and die. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So, like, Naruto was able to talk himself out of a lot of fights. Not really talk himself out of them, but he would whoop a dude into submission to the point where the only other result was, we're gonna talk this through.
Damn, that's
you know
crazy.
What I'm saying? You're gonna understand that you're not alone, and I'm here for you. That was Naruto. He would trade blows with a dude and realize, damn, we the same nigga.
Right.
And I had the same problems, and I had the same adversity that made me feel the way you feel now, but I found this one person. And Naruto always comes back to Iruka or the ramen guy. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Like, and being like, damn, even if I was alone and everyone ostracized me, this one person had faith in me. That turned into everyone having faith in him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that he was able to kind of like be able to communicate with another grown man and be like, hey, bro.
Right.
I know what you're going through. I know that you want to destroy the world, but like, if you could not, that would be super chill, because like, why? You know what I mean? Right. Like, and if not, I will keep beating you. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't that Naruto was afraid of a fade. He wasn't. Yeah. He wasn't trying to talk a nigga down.
But let's reason here.
Let's be reasonable here, because like, I can keep fading you.
That's hilarious.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Sasuke, his best friend, he's like, bro, you want to fight? Sasuke's like, yeah. He's like, bro, you sure? Because I will fade you for friendship.
For friendship.
And Sasuke's like, why are you trying so hard to fade me? And he's like, because I'm your friend. Genuinely, I'm not. That was from the show.
That's hilarious.
He said, because I'm your friend. And then Sasuke tried to put his hand through the nigga's chest, all that shit. Naruto is like, Naruto healed and was like, nah, I'm your friend. Like, bro, what? He just put his hand through your chest. And you're fighting for friendship, but that makes you really, like, as a kid, you're like, damn, like, I could really go through some shit with my bros. We could fight.
And still be.
And I'm still your friend.
Right.
And people might joke about, like, how much, like, that is, Naruto has, like, this weird obsession with Sasuke and think, but it's like, bro, if I see my boy is going down this dark path, and nobody's trying to stop him.
And that'd be the worst part. A lot of times we have friends and people don't. You start to realize it, friends, girlfriends, anything, and you just look around and you're like, damn, no one else is trying to even tell you this shit.
Nope. And it's like Naruto would be with Sasuke, and Sasuke would be like kind of feeling the same way because Sasuke's whole family got killed by his older brother. He had to watch that. So it's like Naruto understood that. He's like, nah, like if I give up on him, then he really might not have nobody else. Right. And that turns him into the villain.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
right.
I feel like it's a duty to kind of like be like, nah, if I love you as a bro, like we got you. I got you. We gonna go. We gonna take it there. We gonna go all the way to the moon because it's like
the inverse effect is way worse. Mm-hmm. So I'd rather be that,
I'd rather try to be the one that's holding each other accountable and just being on that because it's like, yo, you see the progress in your friend groups and your businesses and how you operate in real life. And that's why these stories are having a profound impact on Western society because kids want to be inspired. Kids in the hood, in the projects, they're not looking at Batman like, yeah, this shit's so cool. Being a rich white man that can go be Batman and not get therapy is a luxury.
It's a luxury in everything you just said. His butler raised him.
You know what
like
I'm saying?
this is a crazy. No one can relate to this.
So it's like even if you are, you know, at best a white man who's lost his parents and grew up affluent, it's like that's not something that black kids are especially looking to be inspired by. Like they can't really relate to that at a grounded level. So it's like you'll see how anime is kind of like having this really, really, because think about escapism, even in the trenches, like you in the hood on the bus going to school, watching anime on your phone or drawing a Dragon Ball character, you know, at a very young age, because them Dragon Ball dudes was looking a lot like us. They had tails. They was getting called monkeys.
Right.
That dude was trying to be genocidal maniac and kill all of them because they didn't want to be slaves.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like
a lot of links.
There's so many, but I would say, you know, Stan Lee did a really good job at kind of transitioning modern society in the Western world to noticing our plight, you know, because we had, you know, X-Men, and the X-Men being this thing that, why are we so against these mutants? And anybody who's reading it in white America is like, yeah, like that's so wrong the way that they're ostracizing these mutants and getting these sentinels to go and enforce justice on them just because they're different than the rest of them. And Stan Lee's like, yeah, duh.
Do you see the connection now? Right.
You know what I mean? So there's always been like attempts at connecting those worlds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, we kind of don't, we as black people don't utilize the fact that those avenues have been created. So it's like, that's why you see a lot of the lashback on, oh, they're making this character black. When it's really like, black people don't really care about black characters as much as they think they do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the smartest person in the Marvel universe is a 9-year-old black girl. nobody buys our comic books? Why aren't black kids growing up reading, you know what I'm saying, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur? Because she's literally the smartest character in this universe. And if you're talking about black kids need representation, black girls need representation. She has a nice little afro with 2 puffs on the side of her head.
Wow.
And, you know, she's
What's
a
her character name?
Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur.
Damn,
She's, and, you know, her being this smart, you would think that, like, black people are running to kind of give this legs.
Right.
And give it, you know, a platform for people to kind of see just how, you know, like, much representation matters. Like, we don't make sure our characters sell.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And
so it's like,
I've always said that too, even with live action, like television shows. They'll always give, like, you remember in the era where Fox was basically, they would always give, hey, black people always got a show. And then it would never do the numbers. And then I know how those networks look at it. They go, well, see, we tried. Doesn't work.
I watch people tell me that they don't know what the PJs is.
But a lot of people don't. I know what the PJs, I loved it, but it's like, damn, Eddie Murphy did a whole animation and y'all don't.
Class of 3000.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Class of 3000, that was who?
Andre 3000 on Cartoon Network.
He did have a show. I forgot all about that. You're right. I mean, do you think sometimes it's not supporting as much as we should, but then other times I think like the promo just isn't there.
Nah, I think it's genuinely because we're stuck in a space where we are afraid to admit that we like the secular stuff a little bit too much.
And I can 100% get
so it's like
that, yeah.
I love Future. I'm obsessed with the indulgence that I can find myself listening
Everyone
to
I know
every
is.
single Future album.
Yes.
He's wildly underrated as a Young Thug, same thing. I love these guys' music. I think it's a statement to just like creativity in itself because it's so individual, them two specifically. And I think if you kind of can indulge in that and know, like Future said, he said, I can't get enough of dogging a hoe out shit, fuck a kicker out shit. And that goes for a boss bitch. And I was like, you know, that's a little crazy. I was like, you know, like that is a little crazy. I was like, damn. I don't know if I feel you on that one. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but
it's almost like he's challenging me to be a good man at this point.
That's what I'm
like,
saying. But you're having the conversation in your head, and that's where I think a lot of people don't like. The blurred line between, because you know we can always, like you said, being on the school bus, being able to watch anime. You could also be on the school bus watching Future music videos, like
NBA YoungBoy.
NBA Young, that's what they're watching, and Roblox and NBA YoungBoy. So it's like at a certain point you got to ask yourself, it's like, man, how is this okay? Am I believing everything I'm intaking, or is some of this just this is still just entertainment in my mind? It's good you do that because I know so many people just don't. That is just, it is, you know, and this is just what I'm inputting. Like, I always say this, I'm like, damn, it's crazy to think people listen to Future more hours than they listen to their parents.
That is true. That is 100% true. But, like, I don't want to make it seem like, you know, I just want to also give grace because, like,
well, no, and he's doing his thing.
In a space where Black artists are the only ones, like I said earlier, that are put under that microscope of what you say matters. Like, you've heard that song, Into the Night, I'll Pick You Up. Well, na 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 na. Like, it's in like every movie.
Okay.
Like we've watched growing up, and it's like the first line of that song is, "She's just 16 years old. Leave her alone," they said. And the first scene of the music video is the dad closing the door saying that line. And then the dude's watching this little girl in the music video. Who paid for this music video? Right. Why was this on MTV? And it's like, You know what's crazy is it was
Benny
still
Mardones.
Yep, it was still a hit.
Right.
It was still a hit, and they let it be a hit. They synced it to the movies, cut that part out. And I'll take you into
Harvey
the
Weinstein movies.
Facts.
You feel me? Yeah, I get where you're going because you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
You know what I mean? So it's like they kind of like have always allowed their artists to kind of like be crazy and just do whatever, say whatever, and that's always been protected in their liberties. I love Motley Crue.
Right.
These dudes are literal anarchists. They were doing the craziest shit. The dude was sleeping with his manager's wife. Like there was so much to that band that bro, we enjoy it. Like they obviously, the kids were enjoying it. The fans were enjoying it.
Right.
They never were trying to like police. And I think obviously there was probably like the suits of the world are policing them, but the fans themselves, they weren't policing these dudes. They're like, nah, rock on, you know? So we as black fans, we police ourselves into a box every time. Anybody gets big, they're not funny, they're corny, they're square, they're 100%, this, they're that. And anytime someone's getting acknowledgement or being lifted up, it's like, no.
Or they go look for the negativity. Yeah.
No. Like, I was waiting for him. I knew it was something about him. He was lame. Damn.
And it'd be fucked up sometimes. It'd be just that, too. It'd be like, that's it? So it's over because he lame?
Like, but you got to understand, it's like, bro, we as black people don't respect our leaders. We don't respect our leaders. We don't respect our elders. We don't respect a lot of things.
But the key word there, going back to the anime, going back to Japanese culture, it's respect. And I think some of that, too, is differentiating, and I think this is just something that it's harder for us as a people or as a culture to do sometimes, but differentiating that entertainment from okay, what I gotta do. Like at the end of the day, it's like, what in the world?
I'm like, is it?
No, that was my damn. See, this is why you don't connect your iChat to your laptop. But
it's dangerous. Yeah, dangerous game.
But different, man, it can get very dangerous. I know people who have some stories. I
have stories. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Go ahead.
I think it's just differentiating. Like, I can still enjoy this, but I'm still gonna wake up in the morning and go to the gym, or I'm gonna enjoy this. And listen, I love Cody and Crazy. That's a hell of a song, but I still got to make sure I got my life together, and I want to live a healthy lifestyle. I want to blah blah. So it's like, and there is that balance, but it's just a lot of times with our youth, because that's the other thing with a lot of white kids is it can just be entertainment. Like at the end of the day, I don't even live around nobody who looks like these people, so it's not that real. You know what I mean? Like no one's getting shot in my neighborhood, but I think calling it O Block because it's called Oberson, townhomes or whatever the fuck, I think that's cool. Like I'm so far removed, whereas I feel like with us sometimes it's like
for real,
our kids are looking at it like, no, bro, LeBron James, Future. That's all I got. And if you don't have parents who are, in the household being like,
it'd be hard to differentiate which way they lean.
Exactly.
And it's like, it's a lot easier to lean into Future than it's LeBron James.
Hell yeah.
LeBron is the pinnacle of black excellence when it comes to like being a young prodigy.
Very
and it's true. Like Future is Lil Wayne, a lot, young boy. They're also the same in that regard where people see them being young and kind of like being able to really have their way. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's really just about having your way. But I think it's 9 times out of 10, we're going to nerf every single thing that kind of like comes out in representation of black people because we don't care as much as we think we do. And it's okay. It's to say like,
no, but that's an interesting thought.
Like, bro, I'm telling you, like Blade, Blade was fire. Blade, why are like everybody will make that tweet every once in a while, like Blade saved Marvel Studios. Cool. So why aren't y'all buying Blade comics? Why don't you guys buy Spawn comics? Yeah. Why, you know what I'm saying? Like why is it so hard for us to get a Spawn movie? And Todd McFarlane is
And a
doing
Blade
his
movie.
best.
You saw what happened with that?
Todd McFarlane is doing his best, but Blade's gonna come out. They're just like,
They swapped the actors now, right?
I don't know. I think they swapped directors, but
Okay.
I think ultimately it's just gonna be hard for them to place Blade in this universe post Deadpool. So it's like they probably were looking at making that Blade movie before they were like, yo, we're gonna bring Wesley back for Dead Minute, Wolverine, and Deadpool. So it's like there's just like a lot of stuff that be happening to where obviously Black Panther is gonna be, a staple because Chadwick rocked that. But it's like, why aren't people going to see Captain America? Like, we know that they weren't gonna go see it. We knew that they were gonna try to let it tank.
Right.
We know that, and we are actually aware of our dollar. Apparently, we say that we will protest this and that. Like, what are we talking about? It'd be cap. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Cap,
bro,
yeah.
it would make more sense to go and make Captain America, Falcon, Black Anthony Mackie. You make him one of the highest selling Marvel movies. We have that power.
Right.
And it's like, if you do that, then go buy his comic books and you'll understand that, like, they have to make this real now. Miles, I was at that premiere of the first one, the Spider-Verse movie, and I'm with Sway, and me and Sway, I'm like, yo, like, I knew that the song was in the movie before we saw the movie. So I'm like, yo, Sway, like, as soon as we're watching Miles stuck on the ceiling and he starts singing Sunflower, I'm looking at that nigga like,
yo, this is crazy.
I was like, bro, that's Black Spider-Man.
Right.
I'm like, bro, that's Black Spider-Man. I was like, that's Black Spider-Man singing your song as his, like, safe space. He's calming himself down with this. And I was like, this is the biggest song you've ever made, hands down. Like, and I said that sitting next to him in the movie theater, like, this is
I know where this is going. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like, it didn't take it didn't take a lot for Black people to be like, oh, Black Spider-Man, because it's already Black Spider-Man.
Right.
We love Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He has on Jordans. Oh wow, we love this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Facts.
he has a fade. Ooh. Gotta love this. But it's like, bro, we have so many amazing Black characters that people just don't really care for, but they're amazingly well written. They have complex storylines. They're intelligent. They're inspiring, and we often really are just not really like supportive of, that endeavor at the ground level. Like, I believe that if you build Black Marvel. And white people validate it. It's the same with rap music. Rap music isn't supported and built up by Black people 9 times out of 10. It's really white fans that are gonna buy your album, stream it, buy your merch, tour,
Buy them tickets. Yeah.
buy them tickets, get VIP passes. They're the ones that are genuinely the consumers of it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, at every level, we have to stop letting the legitimization of intellectual property be left to just white consumers if we hope to hold a stake in how the creation of our characters is mitigated moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, if not, they're going to give you a hood guy who becomes a superhero, or they're going to give you a soldier who becomes a superhero. Right. They're going to give you a thug that becomes the gangster boss. You know what I'm saying? They're going to box these characters into, he has electric powers.
Yeah.
They all have electric powers.
Do. I never thought about that.
They all do, bro. They're all a soldier or a hood dude, and they're reformed. They're reformed by somebody or something. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Like,
damn. That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what makes Black Spider-Man so different.
Not really. He's also a Black kid who has electric powers.
It's electric?
Yes, he has electricity powers too. He has an electric venom shock. It zaps people.
With webs.
You know what I'm saying? That's how he escaped in the second one. He touched old boy with the hand, and it short circuited his suit.
That's actually crazy. Static shock.
He is, so he's pretty much static shock.
That's funny.
You know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. Like, I I always loved Static Shock. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I love Static Shock to the point where my brother's name is Virgil. So I always loved Static Shock just because his like that was a superhero's name was Virgil, and I'm like, yo, that's sick, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like you can see that, like, bro, Static Shock is a nobody in the world of superheroes.
Yeah.
And he's been around since we were kids. We've had the opportunity to, you know,
And
champion for him.
And people bring it up every once in a while. I know what you mean. They bring it up every once in a while. We need a Static Shock movie. Who should play it? But they don't. Yeah.
Like, y'all don't really want this. Because if y'all did, we would hear it. The world would feel it. And the world would make it because they make things that the world needs.
And they feel that we'll also make money.
Exactly.
So if there's the demand, we will supply.
And that's kind of why it's like, you know, we're watching a transfer of, you know, they're trying to damn near make black characters a thing.
Yeah.
But not in the way that is going to help us, because genuinely, like, bro, we just need to support the characters that literally already exist. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
we have a lot of good, like, substantially written characters, especially like the Green Lanterns. The dude that just played Lion King is about to be the Black Green Lantern.
Oh, yeah, Aaron Pierre. Yeah.
That's going to be nasty work.
Yeah.
So now the way that they be cheering for him, the girls on TikTok, you know, go watch the TV show. Go fawn over him in that TV show the same way y'all would if he was, you know what I'm saying? Like, in the reels, and like actually make sure that, like, that's the hottest Green Lantern. We gonna make sure that the streets know this the hottest Green Lantern on the planet.
Get that black man on the cover of GQ.
Get that man a solo movie.
Yeah.
Please, ASAP. He crushed this role. Let's get him a solo movie ASAP. They're watching the streaming numbers are out of this world.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, we have no problem watching and supporting some other shit. Shogun. Like, Shogun was so amazing, and everyone's just like, damn, I love this shit. Yeah, no, it's just fire. We have mad shit like that.
Right. I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you were on one of the biggest shows in black culture that saved HBO to a point where, like, there weren't even a lot of shows before that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, that opened up the door.
Yeah, like Oz was the only one that was really before that. And after that, it was Wire and Sopranos. And that was it until that, you know, the staples. You know what I mean? Until, like, until you get to, what was the next thing that really came along that kind of...
Crazy thing is, I'm trying to think, I was probably watching, like, Stars too. Like, Stars and Showtime were also trying to compete. So you were getting Spartacus and all types of cool little shit like that were just like, you know what I'm saying? We were teasing into Game of Thrones. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were walking our way down that street to now where Amazon is its own... You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, we want to see Prime exclusives because everybody kind of, like, has an authority. I've watched Invincible become a very prominent story. I read that book, like, 5 years ago.
Oh, that was based on a book.
It's a comic book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that and The Boys.
Yeah.
They're both very C-list comic books in mass media, but it's like, that's what the problem is that all these stories exist.
I see what you're saying.
They exist. So if we wanted to see The Boys 5, 10, 20 years ago, we had that access. We were supposed to support it. We have to realize that we have power in supporting the things that we want to see grow. And it's like, we've let Zeus Network become the thing. You know what I mean? Even if you hate... Bro, everyone that's consuming it, they hate more of the characters than they like.
Right.
Why am I watching this?
But this
but
is what
I do love.
support.
I will sit there and not lie. You'll sit there and be like, I don't want to watch this shit. Oh, and they start getting busy, and you like, yo,
this shit crazy.
This shit fire. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, how stuck are we, and how accountable are we as black people to realize, like, oh, we like this shit. Like, I love Sexy Red. Like, I think Sexy Red is so fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love the way she raps. I love the way I love it. I think because she reminds me of every girl I was around growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love to see that. You know, like, there's obviously not, like, that's not the monolith of black women, but we have Doechii. We have, we have the sophisticated, lyrical, also sexy, also, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have all of these different types of black people that are now on that level. So it's like, we have to kind of like champion for all of them, or else we realize like this won't be, will be the last time you'll see dark skinned people in this media at this level. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work.
No, we're gonna go find the next Kid Leroy. We are going to find the next one. Right. It's all good. Cause
Jack Harlow numbers are better.
Jack Harlow could drop an album. We'll be all right. Yeah. And it's like they're slowly but surely making sure that like, yo, we don't need to be involved in this culture anymore for them to continue it and make money off of it.
Right. 100%. That's where,
So when we talk about ownership and like percentages and things that we as a culture have contributed to, we've contributed to not really having a grip on anything. Yeah. Besides like, saying it.
Yeah. The culture is us being the product in front until we age out. That's literally what our culture is.
Because it's not in black culture. Like, it's not promoted. Mm-hmm. Like, black culture isn't, like, go to school, be educated, be as,
But we'll call that Asian and Indian culture.
You know what
I'm saying? See what I'm saying?
It's math is Asian culture. Like, being good at math is Asian culture. Like, I know so many Asians that are terrible at math. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
but what a stereotype to get.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you got the stereotype that y'all are all like mathematicians, like master
and all disciplined and all grow up with stern
like kung
parents.
fu and y'all like that's y'all culture. So it's like when we look at it, like, yo, what are we actually trying to show people longevity wise? What we are made of, and it's like to be like so creative and to be so like intelligent of the world and the circumstances of not only us, but a lot of different marginalized people. Like, if you're black in America, you understand what's going on in Gaza.
Right.
You can empathize with going on in Ukraine. You can empathize with all of these places and all of these people that are going through something similar. And that allows us to be able to kind of like shape and tell stories in a way that are understandable and digestible at a broad level. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like we ultimately need to learn how to harness that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because if not, I think we kind of find ourselves in the loop of, hating on Ja Morant. You know what I'm saying? Like hating on basketball players and hating on Ben Simmons and like we have.
I know what you mean. It's why are we doing this? This is a black man who, either way, playing well or poorly, he's making millions of dollars, and like you said, that cup is going to overflow and it goes to all the people around him, and then that creates generational wealth, and that's another black kid who's going to grow up in a mansion somewhere in some gated community. Whoa.
Safe and away from all of the bullshit that most of us have had to endure.
And usually those basketball players, the generations before them, it's been generations of broke niggas trying to figure it out, and then one makes it, and then we like, man, that nigga fucked up my parlay.
And it's like, but that nigga's a square, but no, for real, like Russell Wilson is not cool to people, and that's lame because I know for a fact when he was on the Seahawks, boy, I'm torching niggas with the Seahawks and Madden.
He was torching them.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like torching. And I know for a fact that like if you probably are in this dude's face, you're gonna be like, oh, I fuck with you, Russell Wilson.
100%.
So it's like, why are we embarrassing each other publicly for what? Right. Like even if you say, oh well, white people do it too, or these people do, I don't give a fuck what people are doing. Yeah, because they have control over what they want to see in the media.
Narrative. Yeah, they have control.
We don't have as much control, so it's like making these jokes and playing into stereotypes and not kind of educating our fellow people, black people, marginalized people in general, because 9 times out of 10, you can like align with a lot more people that are just going through struggles that you've experienced. You know what I'm saying? So like that's not to say that's not a white person or that's not an, an Indian person or an Asian person, or it's like, it's literally just people that understand through experience what you're going through. The more we can understand that, like, we have negative traumas that we need to address. People like love Kendrick when he does GNX, but they didn't like Mr. Morale when he's telling black people you need help.
Right.
Like, let's talk about the fact that everyone in black households is molested by a family member. And let's actually make that a conversation so that we can take that out of it and actually find progress moving forward. They'll reject it. They reject every. I watch Vibes Cartel just do Drinks Champs and have this exact same conversation with men that are double our age, and they're laughing at him. And he's like, but if you're my friend, why can't I call you and tell you that my meat's not working with my wife? If you're really my friend, why can't I say that?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Saying, right.
So it's like,
because that's honestly when you need friendship the most, because it's like, hey, you either need somebody who understands it or you need somebody who can,
And then we complain about not having safe spaces. We complain about not having people like there for us and not having, like, it's stupid. I mean, like, I've been one of those people who has gone through life and has endured and understands how arduous it is to not know if tomorrow will feel better, or that shit sucks. But it's like, you understand that genuinely there's no other option but to find perseverance within yourself. And when you do that, like, you'll create something beautiful and substantial from it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we as a culture need to understand that we can do that. Like, that's really what our culture is. And that's why I was saying, like, my young homies, I'm teaching them, like, bro, if you can't clean your apartment, why do you expect anyone to be at your crib? You want girls, but you not clean. You not bringing none of the vibes that give you man vibes.
I feel you. It's like I always reference The Alchemist. It's like when you put a plan into motion, the universe will bring you everything you need.
Exactly.
But you have to create the space for it. Yeah.
And you have to also, like, have that regimen in place, because a man with a regimen is a man who has focus and will be goal oriented, and like, that's how you, like, bring people together, and that's how you start to build these teams, and all of that comes from genuinely knowing what we lack. You know, and I know that you be working out every day.
Yeah, every day.
I'm a person that goes into the gym not to find out where I'm strong. I know where I'm strong.
Where am I weak?
So it's like, there's ranges of motion that I have to use the top plate, that 15 plate. And I'll be like, oh, shit.
Right.
And it's like, you are completely humbled and you are reminded that, like, I know nothing, but I wish to understand everything. So it's like, you're going into this space like, I'm weak. I'm not strong. I'm weak. I need to be stronger. So if I go in there, I'm not going to allow myself to let my ego to not show me the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
that's what some people do, though.
improve.
Just go do the same things every day because they know, well, I could do this. If bench press is your thing, that's all you're going to do. And it's like, nah, that's not really. I know, like, even for me, it's like, it's my legs. My legs aren't as strong as I need them to be. So it's like more so, oh, yeah, I got to hit the split squats. I got to hit the, like, all these different things. And it's like, oh, I feel like I should have more weight. I should have. But no, this is where I need to do the work, you know?
Because it's like, the form is how you, like, start is how you finish in life. So it's like, what we practice every day is kind of like what we're setting ourselves up to finish. So it's like, if I start a relationship with a woman and I tell her, fuck you.
God damn it.
If I tell her, like, fuck you on the first day.
Right.
And she says, that's cool. You know? Like, I'm going to keep telling her, fuck you, and it's going to get worse.
Right.
You know?
Because that's already been accepted.
Exactly. So there's just like you have to come in with ultimate respect and ultimate, like, discipline for, like, the things that you want. Because it's like, if you start, don't introduce anything to a lifestyle you can't maintain. Friends, women,
right,
yourself, don't do things like that, because you have to understand that's a facade. And, like, the real regimen of discipline will reveal to you, like, where you'll actually be like, you know what I'm saying, the most effective in your life and in other people's lives. Because 9 times out of 10, it's like if you just tell yourself like, oh yeah, no, I'm this, I'm good, I'm this. It's like, bro, you faking it. Because if my house is dirty right now and the girl of your dreams is like, yo, I'm trying to come over, now you scrambling.
Right.
You gotta stay ready. And it's like no one's teaching this to young people. Like
At all.
No one's saying like this is cool. Like when they talk about pushing P, I always say this to my homies, like, nah, real P is purpose. Real P,
Facts.
clean. Real P, wash the dishes while you're cooking. Cause then when you plate the food up for both of y'all, there's no dishes to do after. You good. You ready to vibe. You gotta clean 2 plates.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
And that's also setting up, preparing for war in times of peace. Setting up and knowing, well, if I handle this now, that's something. It's just like bills. If I pay this now, I ain't got to worry about this on the back end. Jesus Christ. You know what's crazy? I just connected this very quickly because I was doing an edit and we were doing it over FaceTime. I never have my laptop connected. Sorry.
It's super crazy because it's like my dad has always been like clean. Like, you have to clean. Like, I watch my dad clean. He's so good at cleaning. And I'll be like, yo, I tell my little sister all the time, like, if that OCD that he ingrained in us is probably one of the craziest flexes that he doesn't even know. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you come to my crib, it's icy.
Order.
It's icy. It's icy.
My dad was so Aggie. He would, when I would take a shower, and I would put the towel on the rack, he'd be like, if those corners don't match, she's calling me back downstairs. Like, it just things, I had to make my bed every morning. Haven't kept that, but I do know it's like, there's a level. And I'm trying to get back to that because I'm also like, all right, I got to start. You know what I mean?
You have to, because it's like how you start is how you finish.
Yeah.
So every day you decide like, oh, I can endure this. Like, in your business, would you ever say my business can take a hit?
No.
Why would you say that? Why would anybody say that? So like,
it's a standard.
Yeah. So like, I can't take the hit of not doing what I'm supposed to do every day.
Right.
I can't. It's like you have to be the responsible man that we are designed to be. Yeah. And that's true. Like, I feel like, yo, low key, we have to get back to that because like we starting to see a lot of men get carried away. Yeah. And just how they think and how they kind of like think like bravado is masculinity, but it's like, nah, bro. Like, if I can maintain my environment, that means I'm set to be a leader when it's time for me to have a family. My family will understand, like, no, this is the standard, not because I'm enforcing it, but because I lead through my action.
You see
this
it
is
every
how
day.
I've lived every day. I don't even want to have kids until I can have a woman that genuinely is a woman that I can love unconditionally, and that be my example for my kid. The first time they see that, they're gonna know love in its true existence. It can't be fractured. So it's like you gotta have patience.
Completely.
You gotta be patient and have patience, and even just that selection process of being yourself, but also knowing, damn, I have holes in me. I have things in me that I need to fix. Like, it's a long journey, but you have to know that, like, if you do this now, your kids are going to look at you one day like, damn, I see it. And I already know that because kids will see me in real life and be like, nah, like, all my homies' kids, they come around, they swing the sword, they get real disciplined real fast.
Right.
They be 2 years old, like, swinging the big ass fucking plastic sword. Like, listen, I kid you not. Like, there's like a real, like a balance to being like a strong man and being understanding that love is gentle. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so it's like to really callous yourself to protect those that you love. That's as much strength as you need. Any display of strength outside of that is for your ego. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, as black men, we got to really like know that that's why we have to express this in culture. Like, you don't clean. Right. That's not pee. Yeah. You talking about ratting? Like, bro, no, I don't care about what are you talking about? Like,
yeah, right.
Is your house clean? Do you have dishes in your sink right now?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, what are we talking about? Like if you genuinely understand, like, bro, is your house clean? I had a friend of mine. I missed the trash can when I threw something on the ground, but I live downtown, so I wasn't picking it up. Promise you. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Downtown,
I
kind of
wasn't touching it
understandable.
off the
Yeah,
ground. It
yeah.
already hit the ground. I missed the basketball shot. Sue me. And my homie is like, "Yo, you're a litter bug. You're a litter bug." And I'm just like, "Bro, like your house is dirty. Like your house is dirty. Like you can't actually tell me about anything. Your house is dirty. You know what I mean? Like I don't really care if we go in your house right now, there's trash on your floor.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
You know, so
yeah.
like there's trash around your trash can on the floor. It's the exact same thing that you just saw me do outside, but you can't even maintain that in your home. So let's not go there.
But also even saying that is holding your homie accountable, being like, hey.
You can hold me accountable about loitering. Cool.
Yeah.
Now let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it.
But man, we've been having such a great conversation. I want to tap in and talk about like, man, how did even fashion start for you? Because you've worked. I know I don't know all the names, but I know you worked with so many people, like from Tizo, Touchdown, Sway Lee. I mean,
I genuinely like. I be working so much that it almost feels like I've just been living. To be honest, like I've never been the person to take a vacation or anything like that.
Right.
But like 10 years ago, I was like, I kind of want to just make clothes. Like I really want to make clothes, and I jumped into it like super, just kind of head first. I didn't know if I was gonna like know how to do it, but like I just jumped in it. And
very quickly, what were you doing? You got the lighter, by the way. What were you doing before?
No, I don't.
You don't? Do I have it?
I think so. Has to.
Probably.
Unless we left it out there.
That's all good. But how did you? What were you doing before? What was like your?
I was definitely like trapping.
Okay.
Like, that's definitely like, no, honestly, like I was literally at a point in my young adult life where I seen that any decision I made, I was okay with.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was a dangerous place to be in. I was really like, oh, by any means, all right, cool. So it's like, I genuinely was like, whoa, nah, I kind of low key could possibly do something like that I'm good at too. Right. Like I could do anything at that point. Like if you down to do any type of shit, you down to like put in the real work to be great. You know what I mean? And that was kind of like my transitional space out of being 19, being 20. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, so I kind of just jumped into that. Creative shit. Like I had a lot of friends making music, so it was like a forward motion in Boston where like a lot of the new younger people, we were all 20, just kind of like linking up and kind of creating this kind of energy that we were building something. We weren't building shit, but
you were learning.
We were learning. Yeah. We were having fun. And it's like I was making clothes by any means necessary. Like I would sew by hand.
Wow.
And I'm sewing whole jackets.
And you had, who taught you how to sew?
Nobody.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was just figuring shit out, making mistakes every day. At one point, I was like, like I had a tailor, you know, because I would get all my jeans tailored. I was fly. So it's like I was already into fashion.
Gotcha.
You know, I'm selling clothes, selling all types of shit. So I was at the forefront of like the transition between selling Nike SBs into selling Balmain.
Got you. Okay,
you know what I'm saying? So there was like, you had the resale game come in hot on like Facebook and all of that. Like, so there was a very real culture that, you know, you could make money as a young person in my time, but it was like, you could only have so many hot side hustles with no purpose, you know?
Got you. Yeah.
So it's like, I genuinely would kind of look at how the fashion world was coming into that high-end space where people wanted to buy anything. They were like down to spend $2,200, $2,300. They were spending obnoxious amounts of money on pieces. And this was the first time I had ever seen anything like this. So I knew like this was a good time for me to kind of like do it, just try it, you know? And I had a good idea. I knew what my idea was, like where I wanted to start, what I would want my clothes to look like. And I tried. I was in the basement with my older brother. I'm trying to sew this shit, cut it by hand. It's just not working. It's terrible. It's awful. So bad. It was literally like so bad, bro. And I remember I was talking to another friend of mine that was also just starting making clothes, and he was like, bro, you know what you should do? You should go to your tailor. Like, go to your tailor and see if your tailor will put your stuff together for you. He's like, if he's, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Right.
If he sews, he sews. Good idea. So I went to my tailor first because, mind you, there's no internet world where I came into fashion where there was already, I knew AliExpress. We knew all of that stuff, but we weren't using it, you know? So it was like I'm in that era where there is no extra help. There's no extra resource in fashion.
There's no buying in bulk and then just trying to,
So you could print some, but if you wanted to make something,
right.
If you wanted some shit like this, you had no access to that. People still don't have access to that on average. So it's like, I realized I had to be that for myself. So I would try to get my hands dirty as much as I could, learning how to do everything. So it's like, I came to LA probably like 2015, 2015, hanging out with my rap friends, you know, like having fun. This is when I'm meeting all of these amazing artists that would become Playboi Carti and Post Malone. And, you know, this is just warehouse ham on everything era of LA.
Right.
Where like, we're all in a warehouse and Chief Keef comes out, and if he does Earned It and Finito,
it's over.
It was over with. So like, that was like my first experience, even just having any type of like pull in the world where like, I'm like, oh, I can see that I'm going forward. You know, I met Leon, like, you know what I mean? So like, I go back to Boston, back to bullshit kind of. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like, you're kind of looking for just, and it wasn't like I was back on bullshit because I was trying to be on bullshit. It's like, nah, I'm going to be on bullshit and then put this money together and then go get this crib and get this sewing machine and get these fabrics. And I'm going to be able to fly to LA twice a year and get this. I had a plan.
Had a business plan.
I had a business plan, trying to really get it together. And it was like, I remember like not really like having much success outside of like me getting, I got myself into this store called Bodega in Boston.
Yeah.
And like, I thought it was lit. I thought this was a vibe, you know, shit's going well. Probably like 2 or 3 drops in. They're like, yeah, no, we're dropping you. I was like, ugh.
Damn.
Sucked. Yeah. I was like, you know, this sucks. I guess that's it, you know? So, and my older brother was like, nah, like, you gotta go to LA. You gotta go back to LA. And my older brother, he was like, I'm booking you a flight the day of your birthday, and you're just going to go back. And I was like, bro, I don't have no resources to just up and move back to L.A. And he gave me $1,000 and like 4 ounces of weed and was like, fly with this. You got it. Like, and I remember like, you know, like that was how, you know what I'm saying? Like that was the type of energy. And, you know, and this is like, my brother is obviously my older brother. So he's like, nah, like, I'm trying to get you out of this shit too. Right. You know what I mean? So having people like that at the ground level that are like, nah, go be fantastical.
Yeah.
Go be fantastical. You know, you come out here with a chip on your shoulder. Like, nah, I got to make some shit really shake. Right. And then you're on your homie's couch and you're killing, again, my OCD. Bro, I don't got nothing for you right now, but your crib will be spotless. Every single day. You wake up, this bitch is going to be perfect.
See, that's the good kind of person who sleeps on your couch, because most motherfuckers sleep on your couch and they dirty up your shit more than it's already dirty.
But that's the thing is like, bro, I already understood that the thing that was going to bring me longevity in this world was how I treated people, how I interacted with people's spaces, how I interacted with people's things, their dreams, the things that they carried that were important to them. Right. If I do that, my friend had the torch and this was his war, I would get in line with him and say, nah, bro, I got a sword. Let's go. Let's do it. Yeah. Because it's not my time yet, but it's your time right now. So if you know that, like, you ready to go, I got you.
Right.
I'm not going to lose anything from that, because when you win this war, you're going to have better assets, better weapons, better everything. And when it's time for me to fight, I already know you're going to pay it back in full. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like you have to know out here to kind of like play your role a little bit while also maintaining consistency.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of got back out here, and I think it was like this shift in how I was making clothes. Like, I remember the first time I seen like sequins, and I was like, boy, if I hit that motherfucker the right way, it could be crazy. I think I could turn that bitch into some shit. Like, not some like, because at the time there's a perception on how androgynous clothes hit and who wears them and things like that. But I'm like, nah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm about to show these dudes that like I could take modern cuts, modern everyday streetwear cuts and things like that, and kind of make people, when they put it on, it feels normal. So like, you don't even really know you got on no extra shit. You feel like $1 million though, because everyone's coming up to you and telling you you look great.
Right.
And I think the more that like I kind of explored that, it became like lightning. It was like lightning, because it was like, obviously you had the era of Ray Shremmerd in their prime, unforgettable, post unforgettable, and then you also, and that was like shit that would happen to me in Boston. Like, I met Sway in Boston.
Wow.
And like, I was like, nah, bro, I'm moving to LA. And when I moved to LA, we got turned up. And he was like, nah, bro, for sure. And when I came to LA, we for sure, it was like, you knew that like you had real friends.
Right.
When you got here, because you were just real. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't about none of, there's mad talented people out here. Right. But are you a real authentic person who's just trying to get somewhere? Because opportunistic people survive as long as they're useful. And then, once you're not, people will throw you to the side. So it's like, once you, and now mind you, you're going to go through situations and not even realize you might be spoiled or opportunistic. You have to learn through experience how to mitigate your friendships with high profile people, with high profile companies, all types of things. So it's like, I was battling a lot of that, dealing with like being at Guy Osiris' house with Madonna. Wow. And you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, trying to figure out how everything was moving so fast, because I just had too much access, like, out the gate. It was like I was doing everything I needed to do creatively, to the point where it got on all the stages like right immediate. Like, it was weird. It was like this weird kinetic push, and it was all going super, super like stellar, to the point where like I was working with Madison Square Garden, and this is where it was getting like easy. It was like, yo, every time an artist returns to the Forum, we're going to pay you to make them a jacket, like a personal jacket. Oh, wow. So they're giving me, if you're a return artist at the Forum, you're already big. You're the biggest.
Yeah. You've done the Forum twice.
Yeah. So like, they're giving me like the biggest artist internationally. Like, it's a oop. It's a oop every time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But then it would be crazy because, you know, they would treat me like a designer, like a hired worker. And I'd be like, oh, like, let me get a ticket to the show. And they'd be like, nah. And then I'd show up with Sway. And then I'll be backstage. And then it's like, yo, like, nah, this guy's kind of like, he has a little too much access. So that was like, it was like set in stone how easy my trajectory was. And then like COVID hit. No shows, no festivals. No anything. Yeah. No anything where people were required to be this vibrant. Yes. Everyone's in the house. So it was like, me specifically, it felt like my whole shit was kind of like quiet. Pause. So then it was like, all right, bet. Like, I'm going to start writing this book.
Right. That's the time to do it.
Like, the next step is like building more on the intellectual property. So instead of us being stuck in this being on pause, it's like, what else do you want to do? This is a perfect time for you to learn something fresh, brand new. Everyone else was learning how to sew. You know what I'm saying? They're in COVID.
I already did that check. So
it's like, I'm like, yo, the next step for me is to kind of like, all right, write this book. the kid that does all my art, I realized he's been in my fucking DMs, my life for years.
Wow.
So it's like, you'd be surprised how much things just be divine. And I remember hitting him up like, yo, just draw. Just draw. And I didn't really tell him like, yeah, we're going to work on this book. But after a month, 2 months of him just drawing and it being like ass, you know what I'm saying? But like me loving just the process and me knowing that like if I could inject a little bit of my diligence and the mitigation to creating and making my creative process easier and scaling myself up that way, I knew I could maybe like teach that. So I was like, word, if I could take this kid from Chicago.
Are you from Chicago?
Yeah,
Too? That's where I'm
I could
from.
take this kid from Chicago and kind of like really turn him into a monster. And now he's a monster.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like now he's a monster and he lives in Long Beach now. So now he's kind of like out here.
Dope.
And I feel like I like the fact that, stuff like this keeps kids motivated and focused. And it's like long enough to get out of the space, out of the bullshit, out of that, you know what I'm saying, environment, which is almost like the most rewarding part, So we kind of were able to figure out what the ground level of how we were going to start working on this book was. Spent 2 years on that, tried it out. And then it was like, all right, well, now I think I'm serious. Now I think I really want to write I want to really, really write. Like, I want to write a whole arc. I want to write 15 books.
Okay.
I'm like, I have like 40 characters now. I'm like, damn.
Holy
I
shit.
kind of want to really start diversifying the titular characters. I want to start bringing in and assembling all of these different. And then it's like, all right, shit, now you ready. Because you done let the clothes harvest into their right form. You've gotten good at making your clothes, speaking your design language, people knowing your design language, incorporating the intellectual property from that design language that's in the book back into the clothes and building this bridge of individuality as an artist, So for me, it was like everything stopped, but it was because I was incomplete. I would have burnt myself out if I would have been in LA burnt.
That's what you're saying.
Because you having too much fun.
Right.
Shit don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Especially when you really outside having your way.
Yeah.
Having your way. No, there's no, let's chill. Let's stop this.
No, momentum. I'm going with the momentum.
With the momentum. We got it. And I think it's like a lot of people, again, it's like when you have access to just experience, you're so prepared to kind of like not let FOMO and let other things deter you from your purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what it's like to be in the studio with literally 100 girls and my homie, just like 4 of us, like, and be in a whole house, no bros, no nothing, no, just all girls running through that bitch, for sure. And it's like, that is a time that you have to kind of like see that this is not it. Like, it seems cool from the outside looking in. You think this is what you want, but nah, what you want is your purpose. And you want to like have an opportunity while you're young to kind of like see that this is not it. Because if not, you'll be the 40-year-old dude in the section.
100%. Also, I think a piece of it too is figuring out that like when you have those moments, sometimes being like, this is supposed to be a side effect of me winning. Because that's another thing.
Not a distraction.
Yeah, because I've learned even just, being, same thing, access, you're around a lot of people, you see a whole lot of different shit. But like, when this is my mansion, and these are all the girls who are here because of me, and these are all my things, that's more of, even though that's not really the thing is, all of these things are here because, man, I really did see all that shit I was planning. I saw it through. I bust my ass, and this is where I can create.
I wasn't even gonna go to Rolling Loud if I didn't make a jacket. You know what I'm saying?
No,
so like, I made I was like, yo, Saturday, I'm cooking it, and I'm like, I'm cooking to the point where people are like, yo, we going? And I'm like, yeah. Like, yeah, you know? And I think it gets around 6 o'clock. My boy's already on the way to go get the bands, and I'm still at my house.
Wow.
And I'm telling him, like, yeah, no, I'm on the way. I'm coming, you know? So when I get there, we get the bands at, like, probably 8 o'clock. I'm like, yeah, y'all want to go see Rocky? They're like, I don't either. I'm going home. I want to go home and finish this coat.
Right.
And that way I can feel like I can decompress tomorrow and really enjoy myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's like Monday, you right back to work. Made a chair.
But that's how it's supposed to be. It's the, and even when, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like we would think the same in this. Even when you're in those environments, decompressing is still like, there's creative things. Yeah, and there's things I'm just,
because I can't watch somebody doing I can't watch a dude make that much money and be succeeding that much, and I'm just consuming it. Because you realize that if you catch yourself as a creator consuming, you almost feel a little embarrassed. Because you're like, holy shit, I'm supposed to be the dude sewing the future together.
Thank you.
Why am I here in the present when I'm supposed to be 5 years ahead and people are supposed to be arriving at my destination?
Thank you.
I should not be waiting for Cardi to drop and letting Cardi play with my emotions.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, Cardi's going to drop whenever he drop, and I'm going to listen to it whenever I find a chance to, because I'm so focused
on what I'm doing. My dream.
Because that has to come out in 2-3 weeks, and that has to come out in a month. Or I have a book coming out next month. I have all of this. I got my own stuff going on.
That's
to sit there and lose sleep, literally.
Yeah, no.
I'd be lying if I said I didn't stay up till 5. I did.
He said, but.
I'm not, because I'm not going to sit here and act like there's anything wrong with consuming, but catching myself.
That accountability, once again.
Like, catching myself in that space where I'm like, oh, he's good.
Right.
He's good. And you see 100,000 people. I think about Tarek and Matt Zingler, and I'm like, I remember when Matt hit me up for the first time, like, I'm trying to buy a hoodie. I didn't even know what Rolling Loud was.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? He was spending money with me early, and I wasn't even aware of just the magnitude of what they were trying to build. And I think that's where it's like, while they were building, I was having fun. I was having fun being a creative.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between doing that and, like, I am a dude, a grown-ass man trying to build an infrastructure and build a business.
100%. Because also, even the way, going back to what you said, even the way certain things you navigate and what things you're looking for, you see in a different light now. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't remember who I was with, but it was definitely one of the dance music guys. It was either Tiesto or one of those guys. And we were in Vegas, and we met up with those guys. Mm-hmm. And I remember I think they only had the one in Florida at the time, but they were I think they were out at EDC weekend, probably learning some shit of their own. And they were having this conversation about Rolling Loud and what they plan to do with it, all those kind of things. And this is my having fun era. And I'm just looking like, damn, that's crazy. That seems like it's cool, little whatever, like in my mind. And then to see what it's turned into, you go, so I see what you were building.
Bro, I've watched
see what you were building.
I've watched way too many people be serious.
Same.
And it's like, that's why I feel like we as people need to start expressing to people why the seriousness is more important than the fun. Because the fun is happening. Yeah. It's going to never stop happening.
Never going to stop. Because people make money off of fun. The serious people make money off of fun.
Like, if I'm so serious about my bag, I can make my bag make me money and fun.
100%.
I could do both. You don't have to turn the switch off.
And God forbid you love what you do. So now it's fun, money, and experience. And you know what I mean? Like, you get it all. But all of that comes from... like, purpose.
Boosie gonna throw Yo Gotti, they throw birthday party concerts. They don't just throw birthday parties and let people come and enjoy them spending money to put on a birthday party. No, pay me 50 bills. Come on, turn up.
And everything I want at this birthday is gonna be free. Section's gonna be free. The bottle's gonna be, it's all in my rider. And that's how you do it.
And that's how you really get into that money on. But they're not really explaining that.
Yeah.
They're not explaining that side. You know what I'm that like they're not really educating, because if you do educate enough people, then they stop consuming and they
start feeling the kind of way.
They stop consuming and they start trying to be tastemakers. And if we have too many people trying to be suppliers, who's consuming? So it's like there's a healthy balance between trying to convince people that you know, hey, like you could do it on your own, and really like it's okay to consume, but it's also like if you truly are committed to changing the future or being a part of the future, that's where you got to be. If you're anywhere else, you're late.
100%.
Like when I was making sequins clothes, it was like very androgynous and very not normal, you know? And now, you know, dudes can wear crop tops and
it's very different.
skirts.
You know what's funny? It's crazy because that's what really caught my eye with your stuff. Because we have tons of mutuals, but I saw you on Instagram, and I was a huge fan of the clothing. But it's funny because when I was younger, I used to do like this. When I was doing like Jay Leno and Maury Povich, all that stuff, I would wear sequence made outfits. My dad had what's her name? Can't remember. She passed, but this woman. She would make all of my outfits for all of these shows.
I had a lady like that growing up too. Her name was Rosa.
Man, I'm trying to. It's killing me right now. Miss can't remember, but like she made all this kind of stuff. Like, hold on, let me show you. But it's hilarious. Like I had the straight up sequence jacket with the sequence along the pants and my dad, he would come up with these ideas, and because you know he's from like the Temptations era and all that kind of stuff, so like, but yeah, it's pretty cool, man. That's why I always love the style of it.
That's actually super crazy,
right? And it was cool because I would do like I used to sing like Jackie Wilson songs, Temptation songs, so it was a very Vegas style act, and then I'd have on I had like, let me show you another one. But
that's what I'm saying. When you a rock star, you get why you wearing this.
Right. And it makes complete sense. Yeah.
So like for me, I go out, people be like, oh, so what do you do? I was in Vegas for the Super Bowl, and it's like, I met LeBron, and I'm like shaking LeBron's hand, and you could tell LeBron is like, I might know this dude's song, but I don't make music. So it's like, I feel like a lot of people see me and be like, yeah, nah, that guy definitely does something. I know, but it's not.
But it's still that they say the wrong thing, but it's the presence of something.
I'm just a dude with dreads, you know? So it's like, when you got dreads, you rap.
Oh, 100%.
You rap.
100%. There's no, what else would you do?
I had someone come up to me and was like, yo, are you the Migos? And I was like, which one? Like, bro, what does that even mean?
Are you the Migos?
Like the fusion? Like the fused version of all three of them? That's crazy.
It's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So like in fashion, I've watched the transition of kind of like people allowing themselves to be a little bit more free flow in their style. That was kind of my job. It's like I would meet people that you could tell they wanted to try something new, but it's almost like they needed the proof of concept of how like good it felt. Right. And when they knew how good they felt, it was lights out.
Yeah.
Because I go outside and I'm gonna get 100 compliments a day. I could go walk out. We could go walk outside right now.
Oh, all right.
And everybody that walks past me is gonna say, "Oh my God, I love your pants."
My first thought when I saw you, I was like, man, I was gonna make a joke. I was gonna be like, "Can't miss you coming," because it's like it is clear, like it's.
And you trying to make sure that you really leave that impression. Yeah. Like, because when people say, "Yo, I love your outfit," I made it.
Oh, facts.
I had someone come to me at Rolling Loud, and they were like, I had on this, like, I have this motorcycle jacket I recently made. Definitely like a $20,000 coat. You know what I'm saying? Like, ridiculous. Like, but this girl came up to me and was like, oh my God, like, did you customize that? Like, how did you get all of the, and I'm like, no, I made it's a sewing machine. Like, I bought this expensive ass silk velvet. The silk jacquard lining. I spent all this money and then I sewed it with my hands, and it's like that was so confusing because it like sometimes you'll make something that genuinely people could not fathom
Right.
that I could have made. Like, it couldn't have been me.
Right.
Had to be some old lady. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It had to be some old lady or some old man in Italy.
Right.
I'm telling you. And it's like, when that's kind of like, oh, I'm doing my job right. You know, and I've always known I was doing my job right because I also had friends in this music space where they were in the art space and entertainment space. And they're like, bro, what? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I was
and you know they've worn everything. You know they've,
And I was getting, it's like I would be, like, I'd get a call from one artist and the artist would be signed to a label. And the label would be YSL. You go pull up to that studio and it's just all YSL. And, you know, I remember when I met Young Thug for the first time, he introduced himself to me as Sex. You know, he calls himself Sex. So he's like, Sex. But I could see in his face, he's dead serious. He's not joking. Like, he's almost looking to see if I'm about to laugh or think this shit's a fucking joke.
Right.
It wasn't a joke. He's like, Sex. And I was like, oh my God. And I remember I had spread out a bunch of pieces on the table. He's like, I love all this shit, bro. He's like, I love all of it. He's like, nah, your shit's super tight. And it's like I would go every other week and just, you know what I'm saying? Like, soak it up. Like, soak it up, drop some new shit off. You know what I'm saying?
And I know you was working too. You was like, oh, Thug.
2 a.m. Like, you could call me at any time of the night at this point. Right. Like, you could call me at 2 a.m. I remember Duke called me like right before his birthday. He's like, bro, I need something for my birthday. I'm trying to go up. I'm like, say less. I fuck with you. Duke's so good. That's like a really good guy. So I pull up, I Duke's trying on jackets. And I'm like, yeah, just let me know what you fucking with. Gunna comes in. He's like, yo, like, how come you never, you know, like, show me anything? And I'm like, bro, you like don't talk. You know?
He's like, I would gladly.
And it's like, and he's like, I feel like it was like, bro, like, we're both shy, obviously.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not in, this is y'all space, so
I'm just out the way.
Respectful, minding my business. And he was like, nah, bro, I'm doing Jimmy Kimmel tomorrow. He's like, if you got something for me, I'll wear that shit on Jimmy Kimmel. I was like, I don't. And I went home right then and there. I went home so fast.
I believe it.
Called him at 4 a.m. and was like, yo, you still up? And he was like, yeah. I was like, oh, I'm about to be back at the studio. Went back to the studio. I'm going to go pick up some money from YK Osiris the next day. YK gets out the truck. He's like, bro, you know Gunna wearing your shit on Kimmel right now? And I'm like, nah. Phone starts lighting up. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so a lot of that stuff was like that. And it's like, you think that it's like, oh, I'm so talented. It's like, nah, right place, right time, and you're willing to go overboard. Post Malone, they're like, yo, we're doing Coachella, and we'd love to have an outfit from you. And it was like 18 hours before.
Right.
You know?
But that's when the opportunities happen.
But
like,
because they're not looking at, bro, I'm not the best sewer on the planet. I'm the most reliable dude you could call in a crunch.
I feel
you know? Yeah. So, like, Cash App just hit me up in November. They're like, yo, we're dropping a new card. It's sparkly. It's fire, you know?
Yeah.
The head of our brand collaborations, he's going to be at F1 for the pop-up. And, you know, they had the whole rap in the car with like, crazy. So they're like, yeah, like, we'd love for him to have an outfit head to toe matching the card.
Wow, that's like, different.
That shit's hard. So it's like that for me is like, all right, cool. And they're like, all right, cool. Yeah, like, we need it tomorrow. I'm like, that's not really like possible, because it was like 2 pieces. It was like the full top and bottom and another pair of pants.
Oh. Also,
and I'm like, I don't even. I always tell, you know, my young homies, like, you got to be excited about receiving payments and getting the responsibility done. You know, so it's like you'll be excited to receive that money, but then stressed out that you got to, you know, hold yourself accountable and get it done. So
even for future endeavors, because when you become the guy who's not reliable, that only has to happen once, and then
they don't call you anymore. Yep. So it's like, I found myself cooking, stressing, you know, getting close to my deadline. And I'm like, yo, I'm just gonna fly to Vegas. I was like, I'm just gonna fly to Vegas. I'll see you guys. I need 3 extra hours, so I'm gonna just fly to Vegas and drop it off.
Right.
And that's, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just finished that shit. I didn't even sew the collars. No, I think I sewed the collar on, the cuffs, and the buttons. I was doing it on the plane.
Wow.
In the airport.
Wow.
Went to the MGM, dropped the outfit off.
That's wild.
Went back to the airport, was back home in like 45 minutes.
Oh, so you didn't even stay for all, you went.
No, I was going to work. It's my job.
That's it, man.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So it's like, the more people realize, like, oh no, this is a job. Like, yeah, like I have fun. I have autonomy. I have autonomy to fail. I have autonomy to make mistakes, and nobody else cleans them up for me. Like, I have autonomy to succeed too. But all of that is what comes with, you know, this lifestyle, and trying to kind of like be as diligent in creating as you are building. You know, because creating is different. Like, I could create all day. I could draw. I could paint. I could create out the wazoo.
But building is a very different animal.
Because you have to keep in mind the infrastructure of the foundation, the piping, the electricity, everything, zoning. You know, earthquakes, fractures, like everything, everything, bro. So it's like, when you really want to build a company, it's genuinely going to be a transition, I think. So that's why I think with me right now, I'm big on trying to express to young men, you know, like, because I feel like low key, it's not really my place to, you know, try to tell women what they're supposed. That's why I kind of emphasize. Yeah. Because I feel like everybody needs their own people of accountability.
Everybody needs the vessel they want to hear it from.
You know what I'm saying?
Because that makes a difference, you know?
Because I get frustrated with women who try to tell men how to be men. Because are you?
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like, your perception of men is very skewed, and you'll have a dude kind of with an identity crisis. So I feel like the best way to do that is to have sensible men, sensible women, 100%. Kind of just being the voice of reason. No one has to be perfect, but we have to have people that are genuinely like, hey.
Facts, literally.
You know, my homegirl is the same way. She'll be like, bro, like, you just read the shit out of me. And I'll be like, my bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like us having that dialogue and that accountability. I don't go to my women friends, the women in my life, to kind of like tell me what I'm doing wrong as a man. I usually just go to them to kind of understand women. And it kind of arms me a lot better, you know? So that kind of allows me to go back to men, younger men, and be like, listen, bro, I know why your shit's not working.
Right. I got the intel.
I got the intel. I got some really good intel. You're wrong.
Source.
You're wrong.
Right.
And it's okay that you're wrong, because you're wrong. That's what they said. So you got to change it up. You know what I mean? So I try to keep it as, like, I want us to all be progressing, like, rapidly forward. Like, I want us to all have the opportunity to grow into our best selves possible. Like, all of my friends are kind of like working their absolute best, and I hate being like hate feeling like I'm not at Avengers level, you know? So you have friends that are like doing the absolute fucking most. Like, bro, you're on a plane every day. You're gonna just be sold out every day.
Yeah, right.
That's what you want. All right. And it's like being in the gym. If your homie's in the gym with you and he's doing big shit and he's swole, and you want to be there every day, because you don't want to get that, you don't want to let him get that far ahead.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of people always say like, oh, people want you to be successful, but not more successful. No, I just don't want to get left behind, I think.
Yeah, I don't want to get left behind, and I also don't always...
Because I love my friends.
I also don't necessarily... I think that's where you lose a little bit of your grit, too, when you become the person where it's like, oh, well, I'm always the number one up. That's the beauty, too, of having those friends that's going further. Like, I don't want to fall behind, but also... it's great that you give me something to work towards. And I hope I'm doing the same in some capacity. Maybe it's
if we're not doing that, then we're not going to go anywhere.
Neither one of us.
So it's like, you'd be surprised how much people want to see you succeed. And I want my friends to succeed more than I do. Because y'all are the reason, like, I see that it's true. It's like if my friend told me, like, bro, I watched you, like, get your shit go from a store, get dropped, and then go to LA and blow that shit, like, to the point where it's on every major artist. You have every major stage under your belt. Cool. Like, that inspired me to get to this, and now my business is doing what it's supposed to be doing. That's hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's super hard. I think it's like we have to motivate each other through, like, you have to see it to believe it.
It's the only way to know it's possible.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you have to want to see your friends succeed, because then you'll believe that, oh, I could do this shit too. Easy. And I think a lot of people be like so discouraged that when they friends start succeeding, they like, I'm never going to do this. I'm going to get left behind.
Right.
He's not going to have no more time to hang out. She's not going to have no more time to hang out. I'm going to have to be by myself. I'm already sad.
And that's the crazy
thing. I already
thing.
don't know where I'm going.
There's still time to hang out, but the hanging out is going to be because you're doing something yourself.
Exactly. So it's like, if you got a homie that makes music, go do what you do. If you make clothes, your clothes just got to be that hot to the point where you like, yo, bro, you about to do a show? You know, I make clothes.
Exactly.
And they gonna fuck with you.
And I always tell people this too. I'm like, man, if you, like you said, if you got a homie that makes music, well, then even if you're a little behind, you should be learning how to either engineer. If you're into fashion, you should be their stylist. If you're bro, there's so many. If you pick up a fucking camera, now you're his videographer. Like, there's so many ways to help, because if you, like you said, if one person's carrying the torch, it's like, okay, well, we all gonna move faster if we all help this train move. And I feel like that's one issue a lot of people have. It's like,
you have to know when to sit the fuck back
and play your role, like you said.
Because it's like, if you don't, you're gonna tire yourself out. So if I'm in war and we're on the front lines of war and I'm swinging my sword relentlessly, and I never have a chance to fall back and let, my support, let me breathe.
You're gonna burn out.
Get my head cut off.
Yep.
Nobody could help me at that point. So there has to be, like, everybody has to understand that you can't do it by yourself.
Yeah.
You could do a lot. You could do miraculous things.
Yeah.
You could do very, very miraculous things by yourself. Nothing with longevity, though.
Exactly.
Nothing that will, like, if you show me one dude that has built one of these buildings
by himself. Yeah. No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might have the money, might have the access, might have the resources, but nobody's done it by themselves. And as long as we understand that, then we'll constantly have space to, like, be better. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's kind of just the big point is I'm about to kind of, like, abandon the normalcy of making clothes to the point where, like, I get that it's never been built for us. Like, it's never been built for me.
Right.
Nah. I'm the straight black dude that wants to make androgynous kind of high-end clothes.
Not exactly what they were imagining.
That's not what they was picking up. They wasn't, nah. So, and because I didn't go to fashion school, the nepotism that comes from being in a system and having that portfolio and that school wanting to make sure that their kids are in these businesses and in these, all of that comes with, like, doing things a certain way. So when you didn't do it that way, the best thing to do is to not ever try to play that game.
Right.
It's no point. Because it's like,
you're trying to be accepted by something that wasn't built for you, wasn't something you were a part of. Let me go.
I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to do full collections, 30 look runways, put the runway show together.
Right.
You trying to do all trying to do all this shit because Anna Wintour.
Right.
You trying to do this so that they post you on Vogue or think that you're real. Like, bro, you've been real. You have the stats. You've done it. It's okay. Right. You could do it your way. And that's one of the coolest things that came from Spider-Verse when he said, nah, I'm going to do my own thing. Because, like, a lot of kids need to realize, like, bro, this isn't, you don't got to make music and drop it every week and drop every month or drop a LP. You don't got to do none of that. You don't have to fold. You can stick to who you are and stick to your authenticity and stick to, like, just being who you truly want to be. I wanted to be the fashion designer that made flamboyant clothes, that also makes comic books, that also swings a sword and practices Aido religiously. And I wanted that to be, when I say that to people, for it to be something that they see with a straight face. Because I'd be like, nah, I'm a samurai who swings swords, and I write a comic book, and I make sparkly clothes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a dangerous type of energy when somebody knows you're dead serious, and they like, nah, that's really his body.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really his body. Like, he genuinely don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's cool because the direction of the world is going there. Like, people are going to have to, like, destroy all of these systems if they want to see, like, this true entrepreneurial shift in music, art, movies. Like, we're going to start to see kids make full animations.
For sure.
Full movies by themselves, and they can put it on a site, and we could buy it. They don't need Netflix. They don't need Amazon. They don't need any of this anymore. None of it. You know what I'm saying?
And then the Netflix and the Amazons are going to be trying to buy up whatever that site is.
They're going to come right back and then give you your bag tenfold because you did it the right way, your way.
100%.
You know? And I think that's like, you know, people genuinely kind of get lost in knowing that the road less traveled has no footsteps on it, so you can't really find the road.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you gotta
put them feet in the dirt and kind of find yourself. But I think that a big shift for me was realizing that, like, I was being pulled in the right direction the whole time.
Right.
And allowing my ego to kind of like be what I was using as my legs. So I'm walking in this direction but being pulled that way. Right. Eventually you're gonna realize, like, bro, you're going the wrong way. Listen to your purpose and go towards your purpose and build this lighthouse so niggas don't feel lost. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could be the beacon. Niggas can't miss me. Right. You know where the light's at. This nigga's always here. You see him. It's that simple. And I think that's like, I really live as that light that I want to see in the world. So it's kind of trying to like figure out how to not market it, but to make it cool to people. Cool,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And make it present, because when it's cool, it reaches more people.
I want responsibility to be so cool.
Yeah.
Like, I like when people are like, nah, bro, like, you got to take care of your business. Like, you got to, that shit's cool to me. Like, when a young man is like, yo, I got to take care of my business. I got to do this. I got these degrees. That's hard. Right. Like, why aren't we celebrating this? Why are we genuinely not making this our culture at the forefront? You know, we're so proud of braids. Yeah. We're so proud of them. Like, we're so proud of, like, things that genuinely, like, don't matter. My mom's in hair, you know? Do you know how much black people have power in the hair industry? Very little. Right. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's the most important thing to us.
To our culture. Yeah. We've built this our hair products, most of them are from white companies. And the ones that the black companies that get bought out by the white companies, they end up putting chemicals and stuff in it so that it genuinely doesn't survive on the market. You know? Because it's very easy to buy a product up that is a competitive product that you also own, to put something in it, and then it gets recalled, and you knew it was going to get recalled. Yeah, and then you can file it, and then you can file it as a loss on your taxes.
And that's all it is.
And now I save money on this thing that made me money. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like a lot of kids is trying to get signed to labels and don't know the labels have a quota for how many artists they have to shelve so that they can file these artists as a loss. So these artists that is the biggest artist on the planet, all that is free money. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. You know? It's like
it's the business side that they don't want you to know.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So there's so much in this world that, like, we're not really having conversations about because we're stuck on stupid. Genuinely, I find myself stuck on stupid.
Yeah.
I like stupid shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
we all do.
But
It's
this is my
addicting.
point. It's like,
fun.
bro, I feel so empathetic to why we are where we are, because I'm like, damn, well, I be liking stupid shit too.
Yeah.
I be in the stupid shit. I indulge in it. Yeah. And they be like, well, if you're so against capitalism, why do you have an iPhone? Like, I like it.
Because it works well in the ecosystem I've set up for myself.
I could talk to anybody I want on the face, like with the face on the phone.
And on top of that, let's be real, it's not like they're giving you a whole diversity of options. So it's not like back in the day where it's like you could have a sidekick, I could have the Nokia, he could have the Nextel. It's like, no, it's like iPhone.
You have
or
an
Android.
iPhone or a Galaxy. Pick one. Pick one.
Yeah.
Pick one. And it's like, you know, that's kind of how we should be looking at things. Like, yo, we need to make sure that we all come together and have this hair product. This hair product is what we all buy. Then it's going to go public. And whoever, like, you know, is right there, they're going to be able to buy shares into that. Now we have a whole board of directors of black people that run this hair company.
And that overflows.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Bronner Brothers is one of the, like, that's like the last big black hair shows. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're like one step away from probably selling that bitch off. Guarantee you. Because when I was going to those shows growing up with my mom, it was a whole family thing, you know?
Gotcha.
Now it's almost like, well, maybe there's one brother left. Maybe there's two brothers. Maybe the brothers are beefing. And what people don't understand about, like black people won't do anything with people that they like or don't like. It's very hard to kind of get people to work together. But if you look at how other people are in the world, they will work with their mortal enemy, hate them, show up to their kid's birthday. Yep. They will show up to every single party.
They will sue each other and then go play golf.
They will literally have their wives sitting there faking being friends. Yeah. And the wives will do it and then leave.
And talk shit.
And they'll still make money together.
All in the
for the sake of progress. For the sake of progress and generational wealth, I will tolerate this person that I hate because I know he's good at his job.
Right.
That's how much, like I said, I want to be around people I disagree with, because it's like, bro, like, are you trying to build infrastructure or what? You just want to have somebody stroke your ego? Wrong guy.
Right.
I don't even want that. I need people that are genuinely going to be like, nah, bro, like, you're dead fucking wrong, and here's why.
And here's some facts.
Here's some real good bullet points.
Yeah. Because
I've been observing this situation to the point where I'm not just going to label this as a problem. I've come to you with a solution.
Yes. Yes.
And that shows that you're not just criticizing me, but you're also observing and trying to help mitigate problems in my life to make my life easier. That's worth merit. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. A lot of things that we have, they kind of like, they get misconstrued. That's why, like, a lot of people I could talk to, but even when they saying dumb shit, I understand it. Because it's like, oh, I got you.
I see where you're at. You're just
not there.
You're not there yet.
And it's like, you know, I don't want anyone to ever feel like they're too far away from it, you know?
Yeah. And how you speak to people and how you say it changes how they interpret it, and whether they have that defeatist attitude of, I'm never gonna, or maybe I should try.
Maybe I should take it this way.
Yeah.
Because he didn't mean it that way. I know.
He's really just trying to help. Right.
And it's like, the more we understand that we have access to understanding each other, but choose not to proactively. Yeah. It's like, we're genuinely going to see, like, this whole thing fall apart. Everything we've built or have been trying to build, all of the coolest things that are black, we probably don't even own.
Yeah, we don't. But I think I always say this too, but that's our next front, like you said, IP, that's our next frontier. Like, we have to
ask how many black people they know what the hell intellectual property is. I'm pretty sure if you said IP, they didn't know what that meant. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Ask them what iconography is in their business. Anybody who says they have a business, ask them what their signifies, their signifiers, their iconography. What is their design language? What is the language that they speak? in their process that they wish to construe to the world. And how do they do that? What does the language look like? That shit sounds like I just said a bunch of nothing.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But this is core. This is the core of why the world understands what the Wi-Fi symbol is without knowing where you are.
That's facts.
This is why Bluetooth is a recognized symbol across the world. It speaks a language that transcends
words.
And that's a signifier. That's a signified. Like, these things are things that exist in our world, and we literally are so good at indulging.
You're just consuming them.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, the more we understand this, the more you can go into your brand and your company and you actually know what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you're not going to go to school, fine. At least admit you're an idiot.
And learn every job in the company.
Exactly. Because it's like, I can tell myself every day I know nothing. If I tell myself that every day I don't know anything, I am going to be open to learning. I'm going to be open to changing, to getting out my own way. If I ask myself every day when I wake up, what can I do to be better today? I will go to sleep knowing I walked towards that answer. There was no physical answer I needed to say. It was a way of living, a way of acting, a way of treating people. Mm-hmm. You show people how you can be better today. You show yourself every day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that's forward progress. And it's like, that way of thinking is very, like, that's why we're not allowed to have conscious conversations about things.
It gets offensive.
Because
it doesn't work for the greater good of the people who
have a say, you know? So it's like, if they're putting money up on conversations that kind of like relieve people of generational trauma, you understand what I'm saying? Like, I had a conversation with my father about, you know, abuse and how, like, you wake up and your dad is like trying to beat you and you like, damn, this is ass. Right. Which, it took me one trip to Atlanta to go to my grandmother's house, and the first day, I'm trying to imagine you trying to meet your grandmother. You love her. You don't even know this lady.
Right.
You love this lady.
Right.
You don't even know what's going on. You got there. I love my grandmother.
Right.
So you get there, you know, one of the kids messes up. Nobody tells, you know? Nobody tells. She makes us all go outside and pick a switch off the tree, and then you beat us like slaves. And that was a summer experience that I had to deal with 3 times. Right. My dad probably grew up
every day with that, yeah.
Being beat like a slave, with slave practices being embedded into his existence.
Right.
Even if it was a trickle-down effect, this is worth acknowledging. Because as a black man, my dad has these anger issues, and he has this way of trying to be a disciplinary that, if you look at it, he's damn near doing and making strides forward.
Right.
Because he's not doing that. That is demoralizing. It's dehumanizing.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Your dad popping you in the mouth is
nowhere near that.
And think about what he endured to come to that level of execution.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Like you said, I used to want to fight people. Now I just call them names. I'm getting somewhere.
Like, give me some grace. And I think that, again, though, that's an understanding that I had to not only have of myself, but offer to my father.
Right.
Because outside of us being father and son, I had to tell my dad, like, I know you have a lot of trauma, and I'm here as a man. If you want to cry, we can cry. I'm cool with you on that, you know?
Yeah.
And he's just like, damn, you are tight, you know?
Yeah,
like, you're tight.
And I know that's the best feeling.
You know what I mean?
Though,
like, damn, you're tight. So it's like, I feel like, even if all of this trauma was projected onto me, I've undone a lot of trauma in my family that's allowed my sister to step into her womanhood a little more free, because I'm checking my dad at a certain level. Like, that, I learned now that I can't say anything wrong. I can't raise my voice. Right. I have to knife you the most concise and undeniable way I can with gentility. This is a thing that my dad probably don't even know was created through trauma. This way that I can communicate with people. So it's like, through breaking these cycles, we're allowed to kind of like free You know what I'm saying? Like, free ourselves, free our people from understanding, like, damn, like, it's gonna be okay. It's not like it was all okay, but it's like, if I'm over here like, well, my dad beat me and I'm traumatized by that, you never thought to ask, like, what type of abuse he went through in the South
Right.
at that time,
Because you're not
watching
looking
people
for
get
solutions.
hanged.
If that's the case, though, I feel like you either don't know to ask, or you're not looking for a solution. You just want to have a pity party for yourself.
And I think a lot of kids don't try to empathize with family, like their guardians having a life and having their own problems. Like, my dad had so many things that he was dealing with that when I thought he was mean, it was because I was young. But the older I got, it was like, damn, you got a lot going on.
Yeah, you just really stressed out and a little irritable because you got a lot on you.
You got a lot going on. And the more I understood that, the more you're like, oh, grace.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I realized I could be the change. And you're not going to treat my little sister this way.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So, like, that these things change for the better only because it's like we decide to be the change we want to see around us, but also to endure misunderstanding, you know, like true misunderstanding. Like, a true misunderstanding is not we said the wrong words. The true misunderstanding is that, like, this person's actions are a long ways away from being your problem.
Right.
But they will have an effect on you. And if you know that they will have an effect on you, why not try to
Mitigate some of those feelings. Yeah.
help people come to a space of understanding and peace? And it's like, bro, like, you only get one life. And you'd be surprised how much I can talk to you this clearly and communicate this concisely. And I've had conversations with my friends and not had anything to say at all and not have the words and be so disappointed in myself after, you know?
Right.
So it's like, there's just so much that you can experience in real life that will make you very, very aware. You have to kind of like clock back into, yo, damn, like, this shit's real. Like, this life shit's real. This person's going through this. This person's going through this. Like, and us being out here, I feel like a lot of us don't get, you know, the same type of. I feel like people feel like you almost deserve the fuck shit you get dealt out here when you're in the industry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's part of the industry. That's how they look at it.
and that's like, bro, like, I just had a friend of mine like try to take his own life in December.
Sure.
And it's like, bro, I was on the phone with you for 12 minutes before this happens. I look at that screenshot, the timestamp of that 12 minutes that I had nothing to say. Could not find the words, could not find a solution, could not help. That's something that I had to kind of like deal with. And like, I've been dealing with that till like I went into January. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if it wasn't for like Leon sat on the phone with me and was like, bro, I'm not getting off the phone till you get it through your head who you are and who I see you as, who I've always seen you as. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's why I'm like, damn, that might be a lot more important than working hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, having those conversations, having that transparency with people, because you'd be surprised how close people are to that edge.
And you never know it, really.
Until they're on the edge, jumped, and they jumped, and you reach, and you can't even grab them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, that shit's super crazy. And I think I've been out here long enough to watch people go left every way possible.
Right.
And that's like...
Same, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, we, in our 30s, have to be critical and mindful of where we want our environment, our people, our, you know what I'm saying? Like, where do we actually want people to go? Because it's not a good road. You know what I'm saying? It's not a good road when I see, you know, just what I've had to watch my people endure, like my friends, and not watch on the internet conversations I have to have, You know what I'm saying? Like, watch the internet create a narrative, a lie, rumors. Watch the people that inflict these traumas create lies and rumors. Have to take that on the chin, because you don't want to be a nigga that is using this internet shit for anything other than the work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much you take on the chin. But that's why we have to have safe spaces, especially as men. And
be able to
women
talk to one another,
have to. Because women need to be able to, like, be held accountable. Men need to be able to be held accountable. But I think that's the problem, is it's a lot of cross accountability happening where, like, men can't hold women accountable. That's sassy. What are you doing?
You can't at all. That's
sassy, bro. You know?
Which is crazy, but that's how it's viewed.
Nah, but it's like, bro, my dad would always tell me, like, you know, I don't want to have my wife complain to me, but I listen to it because it's a part of my job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's already made in. He knows what it is. Yeah.
So it's like, if you're going into situations where, like, you know what it is. you know you love this woman, and you know she's about to hold you accountable. Mm-hmm. So take it on the chin and move forward. Right. You know what I mean? Right. Like, that's all it is. And 9 times out of 10,
you might not get that back, but
it's okay, because it's not my place to try to hold you accountable. But my dad, hey,
right,
you don't go back and forth with women about things that you can't control a woman's actions. So why are you sitting here trying to admit it? That's weird. You're sassy.
Right. I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
You can't control it anyway, so it is what it is.
So it's like, do what men do. Focus on your fucking self. Yeah. Focus on your goddamn business. Focus on building. Go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Like, your words are better. Like, your words will be ready for a person that is ready for them. But if you're sitting here trying to come down to any person's level to force them to be on the same page as you, again,
it's not gonna,
you're just gonna push people away. You know what I'm saying? So even with, you know, just having people of opposite and same sex around you, differing opinions, walks of lives, there's gonna have to be all right, well, my bro can tell me that, you know, he can complain to me about his girl and she's tweaking, because I know she's not listening, most likely.
Right.
Like, if you around me, you're a good man.
Right.
You treat the women that you're with respect and love. This is the standard of which the men I keep around me. So it's like, I know she's probably tweaking, bro.
Because I know how you handle yourself.
Exactly.
And you are consistent in this.
Exactly. Yes. So it's like, I'm not going to have no one around me that don't adhere to good practices. You know what I'm saying? So even if I have been around people that didn't, it's like, you don't see me around them anymore, because I've grown out of being complicit to, like, watching people just, like, make things okay, you know?
Yeah.
So you kind of have, exactly. So when you have people that aren't enabling, like, bad behaviors, your homie's going to tell you, like, man, my girl's tripping. She don't want us to go to the studio tonight because she think we going to be on some BS. And I'm like, bro, like,
well, that's ridiculous, because this is our business, and I know your character.
You know, but I also understand, like, it's cool, bro. Like, that's part of the process. Just like her, she's gonna complain to her friends, like, he's going to the studio again, and I wanted to hang out and watch baddies or whatever. I wanted to go to dinner.
But when that day comes, and you got to make that jacket for the person who's the second time at the forum, and it's that guy, she's going to be so happy he went to the studio.
Because you were there. You were doing what you needed to do. They want to brag about you.
Right.
So it's just like, but again, it's like, those be that weird misunderstanding. You know what I'm saying? Like, I misunderstand that you have real feelings, and your real feelings might not be delivered the way that you want them to be.
Right.
And if I understand that, I'm already not going to be attacked by the things that you say or may say by accident. You know what I mean?
Because I know what the root of the...
Gotta know the root, bro. I'm telling you, like, zooming out is so important. Like, you have to zoom out of every... Like, literally, zooming in, zooming out to certain situations is kind of what's going to keep people, like, grounded. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if you're so in it, like, I can't even see what the fuck I'm looking at.
No, it's all a blur. Well, listen, Silk, this was a fucking incredible podcast, bro. I didn't even know we were gonna hit on all these things, but man, thank you, bro.
Nah, I appreciate you.
When are you dropping the next books?
Oh man, so essentially, I'm about to drop a new collection. I'm done now. I'm super done. I just like turned it in. I'm gonna drop my new collection first. It's gonna be called Death of a Samurai. That's gonna be a Champloo collection. And then I have a expanded version of my first book coming out. So like that's gonna pretty much be us taking, you know, this project, the first book, taking a lot of the best parts of it, evolving them, turning them up a tenfold, turning that into almost like the proper entry into this entire universe. Because we just know a lot more now than we did when we wrote it. So it's like, let's write it like a little bit with, you know, knowing what we know. So that's going to come out. It's going to be like 8 weeks of that too. So we're going to pretty much do a closed drop, book drop, and then just we'll be dropping 8 weeks of merch to go with the book. And then probably go into the extended version where we'll be teasing volume 2. Volume 2 will probably be out by the end of this year. And then I'm writing another book for another titular character. It's going to be a music act. It's going to be tight. It's actually going to coincide with their album. So we're really like, that one's going to be, that's like one of the, like, I'm having fun with that one. Because it's like, I'm interested in just seeing how like this universe from the music side looks, because like I know what the fashion side looks like,
you know, I feel you, man.
It's gonna be sick.
I'm excited, brother. Thank you so much,
I appreciate you,
man.
bro. This is a vibe. We gotta definitely just do this more,
and we gotta link up more often, man, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? I want to go to the Laugh. I have only been there once.
Yeah, it was hilarious. I saw you from afar because I was sitting back here and you were on like the left side of the stage, and I saw you and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's. I hit him when I get out, and then literally I got out.
Because I had my homegirl had invited me, and she was like, "Yeah, no, it's just I need you to come out today. It's gonna be a good vibe. It's gonna be good people." She didn't tell me who it was. She didn't tell me who was gonna be there.
That's funny.
She just was like, "Yeah, nah, pull up. It's gonna be a good vibe." I get there late. So when I walk in, you see I'm walking in like, shit.
That's how I saw you.
Oh, shit.
So and you was reflecting.
So I'm like, damn, like I can't even hide. When you late, you can't hide. It's over with. So I'm trying to get over there and I'm trying to get behind the stage so that I don't even become the top. Like, oh, look at this nigga. So I'm like, fuck, you know what I'm saying? But as soon as that shit was over, we went out the side door and went to some it was like some
downtown shit.
Batman loft type. Super crazy. Street Nights, I think that's what it's called. Shout out to Street Nights. That shit was like,
it's fire. Well, yeah, man.
Pop out.
Well, thank you again, and we out, y'all. Peace.